Everyone here, can you hear me well? Okay. Thank you everyone for joining this training organized by the Center for Professional Development CPD. I am Dr. Aini from the Learning Design Unit CPD and I will be your moderator for this training. Before we start our session, let's recite Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Alhamdulillah, for today's training entitled Showcasing Your Teaching Journey Through a Teaching Portfolio, we are blessed with a renowned excellent speaker in this field, Associate Professor IR Dr. Zahiraniza Mustaffa from Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS. And inshallah, the duration will be 3 hours via Zoom, i.e. from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Before we start, let me give you the overview of today's training and introduce your speaker. For the introduction for this training, a well-constructed teaching portfolio is a valuable tool for educators. It is a dynamic record of the educator's teaching philosophy, accomplishments, and growth throughout his or her career. This training aims to equip educators with the knowledge and skills needed to develop a compelling teaching portfolio that effectively showcases their teaching journey. The training outcomes. Upon completion of the training, participants will be able to define the purpose and benefits of a teaching portfolio, identify the key components of a strong teaching portfolio, utilize reflection to demonstrate growth and development, and present a professional and visually appealing portfolio. Let me introduce you to your speaker. The background for Associate Professor IR Dr. Zahiraniza Mustaffa. She is an associate professor at the Integrated Engineering Department, Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS. She specializes in the field of pipeline engineering, urban hydraulics, and probabilistic structural designs. She is currently developing capability in integrated research work on renewable energy to civil engineering applications. She was the recipient of the prestigious National Academic Award, Anugerah Akademik Negara AAN in teaching for cluster engineering in 2022. For her academic qualifications, she obtained PhD pipeline engineering from the Delft University of Technology, the Netherlands in 2011, Master Science Water Resources Engineering, University of Alberta, Canada in 2003, and Bachelor Engineering Honours Civil Engineering for University of Malaysia in 2000. For her working experiences, she is currently the chair for Integrated Engineering Department, UTP, from April 2024, leader Task Force on Curriculum Development for Integrated Engineering, May 2023 until March 2024. She is the manager, Center for Teaching and Learning, UTP, August 2021 to April 2023, associate professor at the Civil Engineering Department, UTP, 2017 to present, strategic data analyst, project management office, June 2015 to December 2016, and lecturer, senior lecturer for Civil Engineering Department, UTP, 2004 to 2016. For her academic professional development that is related to this particular training, she was the chairman for Anugerah Khas YB Menteri Pengajian Tinggi, Reka Bentuk Kurikulum dan Penyampaian Inovatif AKRI 2024, Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi, and Judge Anugerah Khas YB Menteri Pengajian Tinggi, Reka Bentuk Kurikulum dan Penyampaian Inovatif AKRI 2022 for the transformative teaching category. So don't forget, 3 CTD points will be awarded to those who fill in the I-10. We will share with you the link after the training starts, 15 minutes, okay? Recorded in Zoom attendance for a minimum of certain duration and to fill in the evaluation form within the 24 hours. And please get ready for the photos to be taken at the end of the training. So without further delay, let's welcome Associate Prof IR Dr. Zahiraniza Mustaffa.
Thank you so much, Ms. Coordinator, Dr. Aini. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Aini. I really love the way you introduced me. I think you have made a very nice structured presentation to give ideas on the participants about myself. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I think you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we
Yep.
can see the screen.
All right. Let me just have the best view so that I can also see you. I'm always good at Microsoft Teams. Right. In the case I do not see any questions pop up, just let me know. Okay. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum once again, and a very good morning. It has been a very long weekend, so you are seeing me on the first Tuesday morning. So I hope you don't have the Tuesday blues. And I am very honored to have this session to be sharing with you about my journey. Okay, teaching portfolio. This is what I have done at best so far for my life, and I'm in this capacity to be sharing with you a little things that I know about teaching portfolio because of the award that I got, and I have given my best to prepare the best of teaching portfolio for me. So you can call me Zahira. Just a little bit about myself. I've been here in UTP since graduation of degree. My degree is actually civil engineering, but as we speak, currently UTP is developing a new program by the name of Integrated Engineering Department, and I have shifted to this department, and currently I'm the chair. So you'll be listening more about this Integrated Engineering Department along the way. So this session is, as Dr. Raini mentioned, 3 hours. I'm not so sure how I can sustain your interest, but I'll try my very best to guide you, to prepare, to understand how a teaching portfolio will be like. If I were to see you physical, I would ask you to do things, and maybe you will have around 20% of your portfolio ready. So maybe as we speak, you will also be able to craft something and try to have the most. But along the way, feel free to stop me at any time because I don't have any slides, but I have a lot of description in some of the slides, a lot of them. So in case you forget to ask the questions later on, so please feel free to ask. And in the case you want to have a break, maybe that you can alert the Raini. So far, I have 2 coffees in front of me and also another cup of water. So maybe along the way, we'll stop for a while in case you want to go to toilet. Okay? Okay. So let's go to the next. So this is me. You have heard about me from Dr. Raini, and you can find me through LinkedIn. Don't find me in Facebook. I really into LinkedIn now, more professional. And if you see me in one of the YouTube clips, you will see me and my cat. So I believe a lot in humanized values in my teaching. And because of my cat, I got one of the awards. So let's say if you want to know about the cats, I have the clip at the very end later on. Okay. So, okay, let's get into business. Have your pens. And I also shared the slides with Dr. Raini and Miss Hilda in case you want to know. We have to talk about teaching portfolio. Just to let you know, I did not know anything about teaching portfolio until my name was up being nominated for this AAN award. Okay, so this AAN award was one of my dreams. So I always tell my students dreams because dreams do come true. Okay, so when I was coming back from PhD, I got to know this ministry, Mohi, is doing a lot of awards now. Okay, this is a very interesting award. So at the beginning, I was eyeing for Anugerah Harapan. Okay, Anugerah Harapan, AAN, the little version. But then I didn't get through that because I was slightly older than 40 years old by the time I wanted to be joined. But later on, sometime in 2021, my management Zahira, we're going to nominate you for AAN. Okay, so it was like a dream come true. And then I didn't know what to do, but I had to somehow prepare my first ever teaching portfolio. So just just to give you some ideas, okay? I want to give this key setting first. You don't need to be too great if you want to go for AAN award. You don't need to be too great, but you have to have the heart of a teacher. And with that, some other things just come along. You don't need to be holding great positions. You don't need to get a lot of awards in between in order to put you there. So I'm going to share with you what I have done to bring me at this position without me knowing, as my business all along since coming back from PhD. I tried to develop my skill. I tried to learn a bit here and there, but actually everything is just nice for me to be getting this award. So do not feel small. Do not feel you are not there yet. Even if you are not there yet, this is the session for you to build your career along. So you will have to know how to start and what is needed. So don't compare. Do not compare between you and me. Okay, that is my first thing about this sharing session. But it's a journey. Okay, so the teaching portfolio is always about you, because according to Ms. Google here, teaching portfolio is a coherent set of materials that represents your teaching practice. It's just about you, your teaching practice as related to student learning. It's just like we have to prepare a portfolio. Like I said, ever since I had been nominated to apply for this AN, and I said, okay, I've got to prepare a teaching portfolio. So yes, at that time, that was the need to prepare a teaching portfolio. All this while, I didn't really care, you know. But when I completed my teaching portfolio, it's just something that I have achieved in life to put everything about my journey into a book. So begin your portfolio with a deep description of your teaching roles. Got to mention about your roles. You got to mention about your responsibilities and other non-classroom teaching activities. So this is very unique. Anything that is not related to a teaching activity should also be part, but what are those? You know, don't put like, I love fishing, I love cooking. No, those are not related, but something about that has to be there. Even Google said that, you know? Okay. So that is like definition. You've got to understand it's not solely about your classroom activities, but there is something slightly beyond. So this is why I'm going to tell you what they are about. Okay. This is very important. You do not want just to prepare a teaching portfolio, but there's a but there. But you want your teaching portfolio that gets you noticed. Okay, so this one can be in many aspects. Let's say in UTP now, everybody who wants to be promoted have to submit a teaching portfolio. Regardless of where they are, from lecturer to senior lecturer, they got to have a little version of a teaching portfolio, from senior lecturer to associate professor, and so on and so forth. So it has been some kind of mechanism that teaching portfolio is there for promotion purpose. But that is not meant for a big award like AAN. So I'm going to share with you the detailed version of the teaching portfolio for AAN. Because you have all the things. You have chosen to become a lecturer. So along the way, this is what you do. What you have to do next is just to compile them properly in the form of a document. And that document may be able to bring you somewhere. It's just you do not know where it will bring you to. Let's say you want to move into another institution, for example, then you can say, okay, this is my teaching portfolio. You can have a look on how I teach and how the students learn. So this book is about your selling yourself. I have students undergrad, and then when they doing final year project with me, I told them, okay, this is your FYP thesis. If I were you, I will always duplicate slightly another version for my own keeping. Because when I go to interview, I will show the interviews, okay, this is my FYP project. Keep it. No, not keep it, sorry. Have a look on it and try to see how I go into doing research in this field. So the same goes with this teaching portfolio. Teaching portfolio speaks about you. It's not just that you want to be in this institution currently, but also when you want to venture yourself in slightly better institutions or a promotion and so on. And the best is a big award, just like EAN. Okay. So we want your teaching portfolio to get you noticed. That's the catchy one. So what will be the outline? So the outline will be as such. There are two things. Actually, my outline is just two things. One is about the self rules. I have to make your mind, I have to have you having the mindset change. That is number one. And number two, there are many ways for you to prepare a teaching portfolio. It can be a simple version. But for me, when I had to prepare my teaching portfolio, just like this first thing, okay, what is teaching portfolio? Okay, how to start? You know, that was the question. Okay, how to start back in 2021? How to start? And then I said, okay, at that moment, that particular time of the year, Mohi has shared several teaching portfolios of the previous winners. And I had tried to have a look on Dr. Zahiraniza, Universiti Malaysia Terengganu. He won in the previous year. And then I tried to see what he has in his table of content. So Mohi doesn't tell you what are the things that you want, you got to write. But I started by learning from the winner's teaching portfolio. But I did not look into the content. I tried not to say no. I have my own stories, but I like to have some kind of boundaries to start. So I have referred to another winner's teaching portfolio and I extracted out the table of content. So the table of content, okay, let's go back to this one. Remember, the second paragraph, your portfolio must have your brief description about your teaching roles, responsibilities, and other non-classroom teaching activities. So this one is by Google. But when you look at the table of content by the award winner previously, I saw three elements. Number one is about teaching is huge. You got to mention about your teaching. And also, they wanted to see how you supervise. Supervision criteria is there as well. And then also, how you have developed yourself. How is your professional development, scholars, in this teaching and learning? So that is like a little shape of that. So these shapes matters. So the huge amount will be everything related to your classroom, which is teaching. And the supervision, which is like the outside classroom. And finally, just you, your professional development. So these are like the three things. And then when they wanted to craft them into like 6 single domains, so these are the detailed layout. Number one, they want to know your teaching philosophy. You will have to create your teaching philosophy. We will go in depth. And then they want to know your strategy. So what is strategy? But they want something about strategy on how you teach, on how you supervise, and strategy on how you do assessment. They want to see your strategy. And then only they want to see what have you done, what creativity things and innovation that you have put in your journey. And then they want to say, okay, how do you do assessment? So that comes after creativity is the content, but then how you do assessment. And finally, improvement. How you do improvement in teaching and learning, and has it brought you toward professional development? And finally, are you a scholar in teaching and learning? So basically, when you have a look at this, I think you are looking at this now as I speak. You may have goosebumps, you know. If you have goosebumps, just drink coffee. Just drink coffee a bit. Don't get scared. It's okay to get scared. But these are huge. But you already have some of them. You already have most of them. So I'm just going to let you know how do you bring it into a little component to suit back all this table of content. Okay? And you have to understand EEN is not ACRI. If you get ACRI may be like a little step towards EAN. ACRI is just mean for one CAO for a course that you want to submit. But EAN, the first criteria is that you got to have a minimum teaching experience for 10 years. That is written in the requirement, okay? Regardless at how many institutions, let's say you move from one to another, but if you are in the journey of teaching element for 10 years, you are qualified to go for EAN. So this one, the choice of 10 years has some kind of meaning because they want to see your journey. Okay? This is the keyword. 10 years represent your teaching and learning journey. So in this teaching portfolio, you have to illustrate what have you done in that 10-year of journey of yours. So it has to be that long because they want to see how is the maturity of you. They give you time for you to test several innovations, several test assessment. They let you go long enough and then they will just give you that experience because they pay you a lot anyway. The award winner, you get nice money. So they want to make sure you deserve it. So 10 years is like the ripe age. Matang lah. Matang, you are wise enough and you have experienced a lot in life in order for you to bring you into this journey. Okay, so we're going to go into all this content on the right side. We're going to go slowly, each of them. But along the way, you're going to also write down your piece of paper. Don't just listen to me. I'm sure you have nice papers with you. Start to catch. Start to just grab things. What you have, what you have, what you have. So as we go into each of these, you're going to have like a skeleton on what you have done and what is needed. So maybe you can have two columns. One is like, okay, I have this. And then another column is like, oh, I don't have this yet. That's the gap. So the gap is something that you have to work on. And whatever existing, then you say, okay, I have it now. It's just how do I document it properly? So have a piece of paper with you that will help you as well. And I try to have two columns. Okay, number one, you're going to put teaching philosophy. I'm going to tell you a few things. You're going to say, okay, I have this, and then write down, okay, mine will be this, mine will be that, and I don't have one. So that we're going to develop like a framework as we go along because we have a very long session today as well. So that's good. Okay.
Sorry, Doctor.
Yes.
There is a question. Salam, Doctor. Where can we view the portfolio of previous winners?
Previous winners. Okay. That one, you will have just check online. That time, I just view online because that time, they put some descriptions. Okay, you can view. I went to Mohi website that time, 2021, and then they shared several available online. That time they put Dr. Azida. Dr. Azida's version was in the form of website, and it's okay. I'm not going to build website. Okay, so and then Dr. Shahriza from UMT, so he was a PDF version. I do not know, like last year, whose work they produced, they shared, because normally when they wanted to share those, they might have asked for the copyright, for the permission. But you can try to see maybe EAN teaching portfolio, that would be just a random check. And then you cross-check back whether they won that year, because you can also write down EAN teaching winners. EAN teaching. There are so many categories, okay? Don't mess up. And EAN teaching, there are around like 4 to 6 categories. 4 to 6 categories. And I'm the winner for engineering. There are social science, there are engineering, there are several more, I think 4 or 6. But in a particular year, not everybody, you will have a lot of submissions, but only those qualified will be asked to go to the next session of interview. And during the interview, if none won, so they will not announce, they will not have winners for that category that year. For example, my engineering, I remember the first time there was one civil engineering, And 10 years, around 2010, there was one more engineering mechanical, and then came me in 2022, civil engineering. So it's not easy for engineering to go in, but yeah, because you don't know what to submit and so on. But depending on what your field is, you can have a look inside, but do not compare whatever they have and what you have. But go to the table of content, develop yours first, and then only say, okay, now I have mine. Because I don't want you to be sad. Okay, these are the winners, they're so good. I am nothing. Don't control yourself. Don't feel so bad. Don't undermine yourself. But that's why I did. So that I start fresh. And then I start with, okay, I want to just develop this in my way. I don't want to be controlled by them. I don't want my creativity to be scattered or to be disturbed. So that's why I did not go into their content. But now I know it's the framework, then I start to begin. But it's just for you today. I'm going to share with you what I have in my content. So again, do not make them as something like the final must be, because you are what you are and you have different way of thinking, which is going to be in my next slide. Okay, in the next slide. So Dr. Shahriza's table of content is exactly like this. You can just have a snapshot now if you want. But in the page numbers, that's why I have a smiley guy there. Don't worry, the number of pages vary. But if you want to go for in AA, you can't really have 20 pages lah, 20, 50, still too little. But it's slightly more and maybe slightly closer to hundreds, I don't know. Because there are some attachments as well, kan? So this may be around a good number to show how depth you have been into this, okay? But these are exactly what I saw in the previous winners. They're the same. And I later on put my thoughts inside. And there is a reference, simple one. And there are appendices. Appendices is just by my own wishes, what I feel. I did not compare whatever the previous winners put in the appendix, okay? So you will see this brain icon a lot because meaning to see I struggle. I struggle to see. I'm not denying when I look at this and I say, okay, day one, you just have a look at the item content and it's okay, put aside. Okay, and then you feel down a little bit. Okay, too many, we are just human. And then next day I come back, okay, let's try. So there will be a lot of struggles as well when I try to see what I can accommodate to fit this. So you will see that brain icon a lot because I don't have many things. But along the way, when I put all the things in the left column, which I asked you to do, hey, I have the content. It's just that you got to park it nicely at which unit. So I will be mentioning about unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5, unit 6. Okay, so we'll go deep into each unit. And in each unit, you will have, for example, unit 1, you have item of statement of purpose. And then you have the teaching philosophy. So teaching philosophy is like two big things in unit 1. So I will go in each of them. And then in unit 2 is the strategy. How do you do strategy in terms of, let's say, 2.1 in teaching, and another one is student supervision. And I wonder why they want to know about student supervision. It's just a teaching portfolio, but they have their own belief and what is it that they want to find in us. So we will go deep. And in unit 3, they're ready to see your creativity and innovation and impact. So they're like, okay, creativity and innovation and impact. So like huge. So chapter 3 or unit 3 is huge. You can have a look. I have around starting from 18 pages until 41. Banyak kot. To me banyak lah. So all the things that I have done in life, I place them here. Okay. And then comes the assessment. So they split. Content will be unit 3. Assessment you put aside. So you will have to know, okay, I have everything on my plate now. But how do you segregate which one goes into chapter 3, which one goes into chapter 4, for example? Because they want to know assessment is solid. Because when you talk about the MQA, objective alignment, there are several entities that are very solid by itself. So that's why the previous winner and also me thought, okay, do not mix them. Let them be in one dedicated unit because they have to be able to speak up for the greatness in them. So that's why chapter 4, unit 4 is about assessment. And then something about your growth, how you have grown in this professionalism of teaching and learning. So they want it to be in one dedicated unit 5 or chapter 5. And they want to see again, there is the teaching supervision and then professional development. So, okay, apa learning, what is it that I have to do? You know, chapter 5 was hard for me. And finally, 6. Are you a scholar in teaching and learning? If you are, prove it. So this is when I say, okay, what can we park here? So this is like a thesis, you know. This is like a thesis as its own. So, and I'm not denying that when I wanted to develop this, I tried to go with whatever I had already in my plate and whatever easy to do because then only I work on that unit or that chapter. And the rest, I will have to develop and find new information. So it grows concurrently. So there are things that I have already in my hand for the previous experience. But then, for example, this number 4.2, testimony, I don't have a testimony, not good enough. So as I was developing my other units, I tried to send some kind of surveys to get information about testimony. So I have tried to benefit whatever data I had, but I also tried to find other new data that I have. So this is how you build your teaching portfolio. Just to let you know, these days, I don't know for what reason, I always work at the very last hour, last minute. So because of that, this work on making teaching portfolio, they give me like a month plus time, but I kept it in the last 2 weeks. So I really, really struggle making my teaching portfolio, compiling them, working on them for 2 weeks. So I give myself 2 weeks just to do this one. It's very, very dedicated. Okay. Well, you don't want to be like me because after 2 weeks, I have strong urat tegang. I think also stress level lah. So don't be like me. But this is how we start.
Sorry, Doctor.
Mhm.
In relation to that, is there online version of teaching portfolio? We just key in, no need to write in essays.
As we speak now, I'm not so sure because everybody is just making things so easy now. I don't think ChatGPT has it lah kan. But because if you want to search for these items, maybe it's there. But if you want to have a software, I'm not so sure whether there are some people developing it. But maybe it's not free as well. I'm not so sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah. You guys are asking questions about this era of time, which mine was like 2021, okay, in July. Okay, I submitted my teaching portfolio in July. But everything is just very fast now and everything is in the system. I'm sure maybe there will be there are people working on this, but maybe at not free course. Because teaching portfolio, even Google recognize it. So is the thing in the world. All teachers have to have a teaching portfolio. So I think there will be available system for you. Just try to explore. Okay.
Okay, thank
If
you.
if it's not free, maybe the center can buy and subscribe. Okay.
Assalamualaikum, Doctor. This is
Yes.
Suhaimi. What I
Yes.
meant, because at our university, we already have the human resource management system, whereby we have all our records, our teaching, research, and we have like data, what I call CV online.
That's
So
right.
the moment people need our CV, we just go to our database and we just print our CV from the day one we work until now. That's
Right,
what I say, including our
right,
teaching, we have our
right.
teaching information, our grades, our assessment, everything. And then when you talk about this content portfolio, I think if this is in the form of database like we have in
Mm-hmm,
our university, I think we
mm-hmm.
don't have to like to go again and to check one by one from our
Understand.
CV and then write because because we have this is not ChatGPT. This is
Mm,
this is the database that available. Make use
understand.
of it or expand it rather than like you had the stressful situation to go through one by one, check one by one, whereby we already have this in our database. That's what I
Understand.
meant. And not chat GPT something. Because
Okay.
you just key in if they need additional remarks, we can write. If they need evidence, we can upload.
Mm,
Because that is the system that we have now. Why we need to
that's
go
right.
back like the school teachers, like because the way I see, because I have my wife was school teacher doing the lot of rancangan pengajian harian, rancangan this, the bulky blue book, etc. I think that's
Okay.
like making us to be like the school teachers. That's why my opinion. Sorry.
I understand. Okay. I understand what you, when you talk about that, even in UTP, we had the same grievances. Why is it we have to prepare again and again and again? Okay. Um, that goes back. I'm not a reviewer. Okay. I'm wearing the hat of a person who's submitting a teaching portfolio. But if you ask a reviewer from Mohi, appointed reviewers, they may have the best answers for you. Okay. But let me just bring you to example. You're looking at my screen now, okay? You're looking at my screen now. This is my teaching portfolio. If you were to extract, if you have a system, okay, this is my teaching portfolio. It's 100 plus pages. If you have a system that can do the writing, that can make a summary, that can make a narration, then it's okay. Which is going to be in my next slide, the content why. What has to be made in such portfolio. You will see I have a lot of my own narrations. This cannot come from the system. When you want the reviewer to understand, especially in chapter 1, it has to be your own description and how you feel. In those systems, it's just solely on data. Yes, you will need them again and again because in other chapters, for example, you go down, I will bring you where will that be? That will be benefiting, for example, in my chapter 2, those database, in my chapter 3 or unit 3. In unit 3, you see all my aspirations. But this has to be told in a nice narration as well, because again, they want to see your journey. You can't just simply cut, paste, cut, paste, cut, paste. I did my cut, paste, but at least I put some descriptions on what was the intention and so on. So again, all these database will be taken to suit a lot of content. But it's just you got to bring those things together and then you got to make a book. So this is what I submitted. But in the form, in the view of reviewers, I'm not so sure whether if you were to extract from some existing database and then you submit, will it be good enough? As we speak now, things may change. But then they still need to know your story. What is it that you're doing? What is your aspiration? So, for example, let's go to the next slide. The self rule. They want to see what drives you. Okay. Yeah, we have been nominated to submit a teaching portfolio for AN, for example. But you will have to have some things inside so that you can craft a nice teaching portfolio that explains your momentum, your passion, your belief. Your belief is something that comes out as something implicit from whatever data that you store in the system. So that one you will have to craft a bit. And this one you really have to dedicate. So that what drives you is number 1. Number 2, yes sir, you're right. You got to dig up the past. So this is number 2, which nicely fall into that category. We can just take them out. So that's the thing. when sometimes, compiling PDA, KPI documents every year is really hard, but I love it when I had to prepare the teaching portfolio because all the informations are there. I just got to extract them out. And what is left is just to put some kind of narration. Again, it's a 10-year work. They are heavily oriented. You can't really just put a few things, photos, letters or whatever, but again, in a narration. Finally, you have to make a creative presentation. You cannot just copy paste, and then, okay, so these are one photos, this is the graph results of the students' performance. So you can't really let them conclude. You cannot let them narrate. So that is why little paragraphs in between your evidences will have to be able to explain your aspiration, your journey. And you don't want just to put, sometimes one certificate, which is like A4 size, and then you put in one A4 paper, and then that's it. That it covers up one page by itself. You have to be creative a bit because you want your portfolio to get noticed. And you're dealing with professional reviewers. You don't know when my teaching portfolio got shortlisted, that was just first screening. Second screening was about interview. I had to attend an interview with all the at least 7 great people in Malaysia. I have to use this. They are the greatest people in Malaysia, 7 of them. These are professionals. You giving a portfolio to professionals to read. So these are professors in their field. We are literally can believe they are the big shark in the ocean. So you want them to be able to read and get impressed with their teaching portfolio. And on the day of interview, these 7 people just look at you, looking in and out. They want to see everything inside you. So these are professional reviewers appointed by the ministry. Bukan calon-calon orang. So you're preparing a nice documentation for these people to read because they have done a lot of research. They can read people. So you want your teaching portfolio to get noticed. If you fail to engage them in the reading, that's it. You cannot win their heart. That's it. I think, according to Prof. Karim, that day he was the chairman in AAN 2021-2022. He said they receive around a lot of numbers, but their shortlisted version is just 10%. So meaning to say, if they have hundreds of portfolios coming to them, 100 submission, they only shortlisted 10%, and then this 10% will go to the next round, which is interview. So I'm here with you today just to prepare your document, which is your shortlisted version. You want to get through in that range. Don't talk about interview yet. If you want to talk about interview yet, you got to bring me again to give a session on that, okay? Because that one is something else. But you want to pass through the gate and want your teaching portfolio to get noticed. So meaning to say cut paste will not work because you are looking at preparing a narrative of your 10-year journey. And if you cut paste without developing a nice framework, this is like point number 2, you may not be able to engage these reviewers. These reviewers know who will be the person they want to find out. So you have all the evidence perfectly in your system. It's just take them out and then just arrange into a nice narration. I use the word narration a lot here because you really have to narrate. I narrated my teaching portfolio from one to another. So we're going to go through a little bit there. Okay. So that is about the sub roles. This is, if you're not here on this page, if you're not here, then you are not able to write a nice teaching portfolio. Okay. So you've got to shift your mindset. You're going to be in this page. How long it takes, let it be. Don't be like me. Don't be 2 weeks working, but you have to have this mindset because you want to prepare a nice teaching portfolio. This is my teaching portfolio. I submitted in July 2021. And then I think until December, I thought, okay, dapat ke tak ni, dapat ke tak ni. And it's okay, tak ada lah, because I thought it would be for that year. And then suddenly, in this end of December, there was a message from Mohi. Okay, Dr. Zahira, can I just check your alamat? I say, ni apa pasal pula nak check alamat, you know? It's already December. I don't think I got it. But they wanted to check the alamat because they wanted to send an email, letter saying you are invited to go to the interview. So, interview in January 2022, and then results were announced in March 2022. So, submission was the previous year. My teaching portfolio shows my belief in teaching and learning. Okay, because I made it sound to be I believe in experiential learning. So I stated that, and I throughout all the stories I mentioned continuously, link it back to my belief and why I conduct those teaching and learning and assessment, because it has to be telling what you believe. I had a good friend, Associate Prof. Aisha from UMP. She was the first AAN winner, engineering department, engineering cluster, the first time, civil engineering. So I asked her, because I got shortlisted into interview, so I asked her, Dr. Aisha, what should I expect in this interview? So her answer was simple, you know, she said, they have read your teaching portfolio. You have to show them what you have written. That's it. They have read your teaching portfolio. You have to show them in that 20 minutes mock teaching your belief, your aspiration, and what you have written. Oh, that was like huge. That was huge. But it's very meaningful. It's very rich in terms of description. So I have to be there teaching them because they were my students. Several professors were imitating to be my students. But I got to all out how I believe, what is my belief in my teaching portfolio. I want them to see. So that's why in this teaching portfolio, I continuously bring it back to what is my belief, what is my pedagogy, and so on. And it's just okay. This one is like I got to reserve a bit because I'm engineering. Okay, because as we go into our first degree, we have been there like 4 or 5 years, and then going to master's, PhD. So we have been molded with some kind of mindset. So engineering, there are some thoughts towards engineering thoughts. We think like an engineer. So social science have social science thoughts. You think like a social science person, humanities person, and so on and so forth. So it's just whatever I'm going to show you is from what I see, what I in my mind. That's my engineering mindset. So you do not need to follow exactly how I deliver my content, but you want to see what contents are valid and can be used. Okay, so please have that. Please reserve on that. You do not make you to be me. You don't want to be me. Your teaching portfolio do not need to follow mine. That's why when I referred to that first winner, I just look at the table of content. I did not even want to read the content inside because I have my own way. You have your own way, but you need to know what can be included. So this is why I want to share the things. This is the sharing session, which is nicely coming to your training outline as well. You don't need to copycat me, but you can see how you want to craft it. So, but there is the but there. Do make full use of graphical presentation, images, and do not make a boring portfolio. Because these people who are reading your portfolios are human. You want to attract them. As they go into first page, make them want to go to the next, second page, and third page, and so on. And again, don't make a boring statement like I say. You have one A4 evidence, and then you just put A4 box to the box. Janganlah, you know, be creative sikit. You got to have the artistic signs in you lah. You got to develop some artistic signs. Make a nice presentation. Okay, my teaching portfolio is very personal to me. As I speak for 50 minutes now, I think you can see how is my aspiration towards my teaching portfolio. So this is my office, not in this office, my previous office. This is at the back of my This is my chair. This is my books, my favorite books. But what I want to zoom you is here. Okay, I want to zoom you. You see, I kept, because this one is very personal to me, I kept my undergrad thesis dated 2000. I kept my master's thesis in 2003. I kept my PhD books. My thesis are in the form of books. And here, ta-da, that is my AAN teaching portfolio. So, I made it. Jilid lah. Kita jilid Apa nama orang putih ni? Jilid. You. Apa nama jilid Dr. Raini?
Tak tahu juga.
Hardbound, right? I hardbound. I
Yes.
hardbound and I keep it. Because you know why?
For
I'm going to die one day. And I'm going to tell my great-great-grandchildren, grandchildren, this is my journey. Opa dulu cikgu. This is my teaching portfolio. You know? And I like it that way because I have my IR report. So at the back, very dedicated section. Don't look at my skinny Sheldons lah. Dah lama tak baca. This second shelf. These are where my story of lifetime from journey, because it is very personal to me. So I give my best to my teaching portfolio. Okay.
Doctor,
Okay.
so the question, okay, first question, from Dr. Zalika, the portfolio, should it be arranged based on years for each of the chapter, like year 1, year 2, year 3, etc. of teaching? Because you mentioned we have to trace back 10 years, right?
Right. Okay. Nanti, belum lagi. We
Okay.
will go there. We'll go there. Okay. Yeah. As you know now, which is good. I think your brain has started working. Okay. I have so many things in mind now, you know. So I want that to happen. That's great that you have thought about that, because now, how do you craft? But it's a journey. Macam mana? If you want to tell your baby kecil lagi lah kot, your children, kisah pasang kancil buaya, you're going to start with something so that they understand at the end of the day. When you want to tell stories lah, this is when I'm engineering, but I have this kind of, I love to write. I love writing my thesis. I don't know, orang kata, my husband, who is also a PhD scholar, if I got 1 million again, I don't want to do PhD. And then I was like, okay, if people give me 1 million, I will do my PhD another one. Because maybe I love to write. So you have to develop this kind of skill sets to write lah. So that the journey explains nicely. You're going to arrange several dots. So your question is very valid. But let's see how I did. And then you can think of how suits you. But do not copy me, okay?
Okay.
Mine is never the best, but this is what I'm sharing. Okay, so that's my book. Okay, let's go to Unit 1. Unit 1, okay? Clear? Minum kopi dulu. Bismillah. Okay. I want you to have your papers ready. Remember, there are 2 columns. One, what is it that you have? Another one, what is it that you don't have? And this one, these are all, if you will see this version of mine, you will see Unit 1 appearing this way. And the content of Unit 1 is about statement of purpose and teaching philosophy. They wanted 2 things, you know, from the table of content. But this is the blue things is from what I feel. So I felt like they want to understand your principles in teaching and learning. You will have to tell them in Unit 1 about you as a teacher. This is number 1. Okay. So in that one, they want 1.1 item statement of purpose. So this one, if you see in the box, this means is there in the table of content. And then other boxes, for example, now, this is what I feel that suits best. Okay. So don't mess up. Mohi cakap 1 page. No lah. This is what I feel. So statement of purpose is a summary. It's just similar to your executive summary. Do you know executive summary? And you know abstract? Why is it people like to read abstract? When you write a paper, if you write abstract the first, this salah tu. My abstract is always the last, because I have prepared the whole papers and I say, okay, now I know what to say, and then I go to abstract and then I write. So it's like a summary. Same with executive summary when you want to prepare a grant. Executive summary will have several components on several items. is just the whole overview. So you want to park your mindset very brave to one page only, this as much as possible, because this one is a statement about your cornerstone. Cornerstone. Your teaching portfolio depends or is based on this. So mine is experiential learning. Contohnya lah. I will have a funny story about that as well. My teaching pedagogy. Maybe I keep it in the next slide, but I'll come back to that, okay? But whatever you mention here, the reviewers expect you to be telling this throughout. If you declare things here and they do not see this being used throughout, salah tu bang. So maybe you have not prepared a nice statement of purpose yet. Okay? Because the statement of purpose is whatever that you want to explain about your teaching and learning journey. 10 tahun ni, lama ni, you know. So this one, and they will always cross-reference by, okay, he mentioned about statement of purpose tadi lain, cakap lain pula. So make sure they're telling the right thing. And why? It does about you, your identity as a teacher. What goals you have, how you help students achieve those goals, and how you assess student learning. Now, this is your belief, okay? Maybe I can quickly go back to my one page. Just nanti cakap main-main pula. Nak main ni, betul. One page je. That. This is my statement of purpose. Simple. Very concise. I just say, teaching is an art because I'm an artist person. Art sikit lah. But then, don't worry about candidate. I don't want to say me, I, you in this book. So I represented my teaching portfolio. This one is just me, candidate. So I did not say, I, me, we, my student. I do not use those words, but I use the kata ganti tiga nama ya, kata ganti ketiga lah. The candidate, which is me. So throughout this teaching portfolio, it's just the candidate. But when I highlighted, I bold a few things. So this is how I see I want to teach my students. And finally, I say they have to go outdoor. Outdoor-based activities. That is my statement of purpose. I believe as a civil engineer, students cannot just learn with the chalk. Theories, tak boleh. Runtuh semua bangunan, you know. So, they've got to go out. They got to test, they got to see, they have to use their senses. They got to see, hear, touch, taste, and smell the engineer. So this one, that's it. Full stop, solid. This is how I believe. And then, so that is like my belief. Okay, and then finally, okay, come back to this slide. I have this at the bottom of my, just to share lah. This is just to share. Because I say, this is not just a document submitted for an award. This is my journey as an educator. This is my story. So even if this one that pens down, if I don't get this award, I don't care. Because I have managed to compile all my stories in a book. And that is my journey as a lecturer. Okay. So that one I wrote down at the very bottom. You saw just now as well. So this is how I believe every civil engineering have to go outside. So my aspiration is always about outdoor-based education. So that is my statement of purpose, and they saw that on the first page. So after that, you'll see a lot of my assessment activities learning towards that. So I keep it close enough to imitate the same. Okay, then teaching philosophy. In the teaching philosophy, there are two things, okay? They will have to have a statement. This one is from the previous winners table of content. Okay? They will want to show the statement a little bit, but they want to know the theories. So when you want to create the teaching philosophies, you have to know why you want to do this. What is it that you want to transform? What is your pain point? Yeah. Any question? No. Okay. Time for maybe again. So you want to see why do you have to do this teaching and learning? What is your teaching learning innovation goes to? So you have to be able to explain how you view teaching. And this one comes back to your personal orientation towards teaching and learning. Also, this is part of your belief. And then you may want to have this as a guide. This one maybe tak ada. Ini kena tulis. If you don't have it, this is what you got to come out. Okay, why you want to do this? What goes wrong? When is the, who are, those things lah. And you may want to have some kind of data to support, which is qualitative. I have one or two diagrams in this one page as early to show this is really neat. And then I have some qualitative when my students say, oh, we're bored in the class, we want to go outside. So that is really neat. So because of that, I put them at the very first page in teaching philosophy, the statement. It's just to strengthen my case, So when you have some data from your students, of course, because they know what they want, and then you follow through. So maybe you want to incorporate them in building your statement. So my page for the statement is around 1 to 2 pages only, because I have some of their thoughts. I wrote it down. And then part of your portfolio where you present your ideological stance on teaching, or you want to say about your explicit and implicit beliefs. So this also comes back towards this how, where. We call it one husband and four wives lah. The husband is how, the four wives is what, why, when, who. Okay. One husband, four wives. And then, but again, when you want to make this summary, you've got to have the whole overview of your 10 years experience. Why you want to describe this in terms of this context. Now, that's why for this reason, your LMS data system will not be able to do so, because you got to craft it back and to make a nice narration. So this one will be the statement itself. Okay. Any questions on the statement before I go to the theory?
There's no question about statement, but ada question about format.
Format.
Okay, any particular format? Do we need to develop the portfolio ourselves? What happens if we take over a subject from others?
Okay.
Right.
The format is up to you. They didn't say what kind of format, but I don't know whether you can give PowerPoint presentation. If you can show the nice narration, still okay, because some people use the flipbook lah, kan? There are several formats. So I'm not giving you any answers like the do's and the don'ts. As long as you are able to tell your journeys and you're going to put all those documents inside, then it's good. Because some people would just like to develop during Canva, more informative. I don't know, but you got to have something. But the table of content, the content must be there. Okay, question number 2. If you take it up from someone else, but you think you have posted your content, the change that you make to the teaching and learning will be yours lah. It can always be someone else's courses. But there will be one part where you may develop your own aspiration. Okay, this topic, I want to do it differently than that person. So that is yours. But whatever he did, you cannot claim that's yours. Unless you team develop together. Then just let him know, okay, I'm going to bring this into my team portfolio for submission and things like that. So you will see in the next few slides that I had to also share teaching with others. But I shared my case differently. But I have these very strict rules. What belongs to mine, I can share. But whatever he developed, I don't put as well. Unless you go for team teaching, like collaborative learning is huge, kan? Apa nature. Depends on the nature. Okay. I hope that helps. Any more?
No, thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, the theory. Before I go to the theory, I think you guys are very good at this. I came back from PhD around 2011 from Holland. And when I came back, Malaysia has shifted to many things. Okay, this comes to the theory. Malaysia has shifted. I came back in November. I was surprised to see kenapa Malaysia has changed. Number one is like they like Korea so much, and it's okay. How come so many like Korea? K-pop was there, the food was there. So okay, what happened to Malaysia? And suddenly they love coffee so much. I came from Holland, okay, 4.5 years drinking coffee. But then when I came back, wow, Malaysian minum coffee juga, you know. Okay, but their coffee was like 3-in-1. Okay, that one is not really Dutch coffee. Dutch coffee, no sugar. And then everything changed to active learning lah, you know, okay, you know, active learning, blended learning, because I came back that time, okay, kenapa kena buat semua ni? So these are pedagogies that are available. But funny is that, this is my funny stories, because maybe I was born to become a teacher lah. When I was teaching my students during undergrad, teaching them how to answer questions, tutorial assignment, and they look at me, they call me Zach. Zach, I think you are a good teacher lah. I said, okay. So I was like, my friends say I was a good teacher because I taught them well. So because of that, I always have this aspiration and believe in teaching in me. So I was born as a teacher. So ever since my data, I started to count my data after coming back from PhD. So 2011, end of the year. So 2012, you will see me with my timeline. So when I prepared my AAN document, I chose that year because that was the shape, okay, the documentation of active learning, KPI was there, and then Swatter grant was out. I said, apa lah Malaysia ni? Just huge change, you know. But I never knew what my pedagogy of teaching. But I got award. I got award, Quality Day Award, you know, and so on. So my first award at national level, I think in 2016, I joined IFEX. Okay, so went outside, okay, showcase my outdoor-based learning lah, kononnya. But then I got my first question about pedagogy. Okay, so there was this, I think you know her. She was one of your AAN winners as well. And she was also there during my AAN interview. I met her again. I was so happy to see her. She asked me this question, what is your teaching pedagogy? I said, okay, pedagogy, you know, that time. I don't really know what to answer her. Because all this while, I teach with my heart. I teach with my beliefs. Pedagogy, I'm not so sure. What is it, madam? You know, I asked my reviewer because at that time I was doing my poster presentation. Comes to here, okay? But there's something in you that you believe so much and you just want to change for your students. And there is something that you also adapt to the current needs of pedagogy, which the university is giving you the blended learning, active learning, gamification nowadays, and then you have problem-based learning, you have collaborative learning. So those are a lot of them. So you may want to spend some thoughts in this speech, telling them what is your theory of teaching? What is the pedagogy that you want? Okay, you go for active learning on what form? Flipped classroom? So you will have to explain. You have to explain. There was a case when somebody got shortlisted because of the great teaching portfolio, and they went into the interview. But during the interview, she was short a lot from all angles because the first question she could not answer well on her teaching pedagogy. Okay, she was doing flipped classroom, but then there are several approaches on flipped classroom. You know, I'm not into that, but for those who are really expert in flipped classroom, you may know there are some details that need to be crafted out. So it's just too bad during the interview session, she got short in many angles because of that question. So do not underestimate on your theory. You try to understand. But for me, in my teaching portfolio, as I wrote down in my first page, I believe in outdoor-based activities. That's it. But along the way, coming to my interview, then only I knew, interactive. It was experiential learning. So what I believe in me, I followed through. But it was just nice enough. I got a question which I didn't know. But along the way, during the interview of AAN, I got to know, it's experiential learning sebenarnya. So your belief is very important, and you will have to anchor this, guide this, safeguard this, because you will have to define. So do not underestimate not to be able to explain this well, okay? Especially nowadays. Back in 2011, everything was starting, but now there's so many experts in teaching pedagogy. This is the timeline of the time, so you don't want to play lah, describing a pedagogy. So there may be times, okay, on this particular part, the theory, you may want to refer back to some literatures. Don't worry, cite some literatures. It's okay. Maybe there was a work by, this John in 2000. He has used active learning in his course. He had made a framework. It's okay. Guide them. When you cite certain work, this is the best part when you want to cite theories, because you do not develop your own. Like me, I thought I developed outdoor based, but that was my belief. But actually, it is just part of experiential learning. So in the theory, spend some time to cite some good literatures on it, because later on you can put these names in the reference. For me, I put certain one or two people who have worked on it, and some of the journal papers, because civil engineering teaching way of learning, there are some journals as well. Journals who have tested, for example, I chose someone who were in Australia, who tested his civil engineering class on project base, and then I cited his work. But this is where, in the theory, you can spend a little bit more time if you want to cite works, okay? When you cite works, meaning to say it strengthens more, but then you can say, okay, this is the original framework, and then I enhance. So make sure you write it down. The enhancement that you make to your current classes, in what form and why, and what is it that you believe. So spend time on this. I think I placed this one of the last units as well, because I wanted to make sure my content were fixed and then landed, and then I shift back to here, because I don't want to miss anything. Because the theory, you will find it in your methods and whatever activity that you give, and also your assessments. So this is how important it is. So when I say my pedagogy is about outdoor based, yes, I brought them to outside during the lectures. I asked them for some activities, and also I did test them. Outdoor based style in the final exam, in the text. So you see, I put everything within a scope. So that's why then you say, okay, she really holds it. Okay, any questions on it? Before I move to the next slide, which is Unit 2.
Yes, there is a
Yes.
question from Dr. Wan. There is a template much easier to develop if it is a teaching and learning requirement? Is it applicable for teaching and learning PG as well, postgraduate?
Postgraduate,
Hmm.
can you explain the postgrad? Fine. What is it again?
Dr. Wan, are you there? Maybe you want to
Dr. Wan, yeah.
explain? Dr. Wan Ahmad Fauzi.
Yeah, postgraduate meaning
Uh-huh.
teaching postgraduate subjects as well, like comparative constitutions. So do I need to develop?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is a 10-year journey, okay? But you pick and choose which things that you want to share. Because in a year, you teach many courses. But you may want to pick and choose the thing that will be like the most important, the essence of your backbone of teaching and learning framework. And those with wow. I want to teach you this word, wow. Bila orang tengok je, wow. So pick and choose. Even though if a postgrad, do not worry. I also put my little thing on postgrad, little je one section. But I wanted to show, hey, I've done undergrad, but I also go to postgrad. Later on, we'll go skip through in my content. Even though it's little section, but that section was like, wow, she put these things. So yes, you can pick and choose, be selective, and try to see whatever information or document that can that can give a very good impact to your teaching portfolio. So that's good. It's just on the second thing. Okay. Any more questions on that? Because postgrad ada sini juga, unit 2.
No more questions.
Okay. Kita sambung ya.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, unit 2, chapter 2. I was, this is when I say, apalah dia nak strategi, It's not that I'm happy to write the teaching portfolio because they want very hard things, okay? It's just like, okay, we've got to prepare. Because it's already in us. It's just we do not make a structured things inside. It's already in us. It has been in us in our work. It's there, but now it's just to map back. They want to say, what is the strategy? Strategy in teaching. Stroke supervision. Ada supervision dekat situ, okay? And assessment. And then I wonder, why not supervision? But I asked Google lah. Teachers are there to help students learn new things. Teaching. Supervisors are there to keep students in line. One is about supporting the students, which is teaching. And the other one is about controlling the students. So you being a teacher can be in a huge mass of students, which is your class. But at the same time, you are also a teacher and on individual scale, which can be in supervision point of view. So they want this document, okay? Let's say Mohi lah. Mohi wants to see how you are in handling those two different audiences. Okay? So because of that, I thought, okay, maybe I've got to put a little bit on how I supervise students in this unit too. Because on how I teach is good enough. Okay, I can see, I can imagine. But being a supervisor is also a credibility that they want to see. Because if you do not have successful supervision, how can we tell you are a good teacher? So a good teacher should be able to handle both crowds, the big crowd and also the individual crowd. Okay, so that's how I see. So this is like the second sentence. I believe what is it that they want us to put is like they want to know your strategies as a teacher and supervisor. And that's okay. How do I craft it? Because it's always in our heart, right? Okay, we do this on a daily basis, business as usual. I will ask my student to do this in the big class and so on. So, but as an engineer, okay, I'm sorry but this comes back to how I see this topic. As an engineer, when you talk about strategy, and I thought, okay, this one I have to illustrate with some kind of diagram, I thought. So that was like the first line that maybe there should be a flow chart, because I can explain better in that form. Again, you got to narrate your teaching portfolio. Each section of this, make a little story lah. So I thought that time, if I were to put some kind of diagram, like a chart, I can explain better on this strategy element. So that's what my thought. So okay, pening lah. Where do I begin? I was just like you. Now you may have a lot of question marks in your mind, but I was exactly like you. So where do I begin? So okay, let's go back to MQA. Because MQA wants to talk about, this is one from them, okay? I just copy paste. Constructive alignment. This one is there. Whenever you go and want to go into accreditation, they will check on this. Okay, constructive alignment. What are the constructive alignment? I'm sure you just know this by heart. And then figure 3.10, they have the BIGS model, they have the learning outcomes, they have assessment, they have activities. So these are the three keywords. So I thought, okay, strategy ni, can we develop this strategy based on these three keywords, You've got to have something like landed lah. You got to have rational as well. Jangan nanti disebut, my strategy is to whatever kind. You got to be rational in your choice. So the three things of the constructive alignment keywords appear a lot. And without us knowing, we have been doing in our classroom. But have you ever thought on what kind of strategy, so-called strategy, that can suit those aspirations of yours. So then comes to the next step. I say, okay, let's then, okay, teaching and supervision. Okay, then I said, okay, I'm going to reimagine. So this is my word, meaning to say I redevelop my strategy based on these MQA aspirations. Constructive alignment, my self-assessment, my have learning outcome, and my self-activity. So that is like one. But whenever I do this, I will have to show the evidence a lot to show the strategy. Okay, now, again, this is just my example due to my kind of engineering mindset thinking. And I have done a lot of research in engineering. So I said my strategy, I call it my flow chart of teaching and learning framework. I said, okay, I think I can draw something like this because I have been doing it. It's just now landed up into one nice diagram so that I can explain easier. So I said, okay, we got start. Jangan gelak, okay? Jangan gelak. This is like doing research to my teaching. I said, I have a start. And what is it that I want to know? Okay, a lot of problems in the class. What is the problem? Students sleepy. What is the pain point? Students fail all the time. CQI is so high. And then what? Students could not do theories question, or students love only engineering solution. They fail all the time. So you know this. You have those points, but I just put a box to make it meaningful. And then you know this as well. The second box is something you know. Again, this one was what I did. I said, okay, for that pain point of students, which one PO, CLO got affected? I still and put it there. And then I said, okay, let's try something different. So I said, okay, I design a new teaching and learning innovation just to come out to that problem lah. And then I going down and then I execute the design, you know, engineering design. And then kita execute. You do it for 1 or 2 semesters or 1 or 2 cohort. And then I check, okay, good or not, efficient teaching and learning innovation. If I say no, CQI still happens, student fail again, okay, go back and design a new thing, I say. And then if not, and if this is good, then okay, then it's about me. Do I feel good about this? Has it been good to me? Have I got certain recognition from there? If it's yes, then good. I have done something right. And then after that, I say, then can we share with externals? Because I have those database. I've been doing it all the time. It's just now I make it into a flowchart. Yeah, I can involve external parties. You will see what I did. And then I can share. I can explain. I can coach. And I can mentor, whatever in UTP. And then is it successful? Yes, I got some awards. And, you know, so again, example of how I see a strategy is. Do not copy. This one copyright. Do not copy because this one is mine. And this is how I feel. You may have different way of expressing your strategies. But again, as an engineer, you know, I have been not just engineer by design, but also I have been landed in a strategy office in UTP where we foresee several planning for UTP. So you can see my mind to be strategically aligned. So whenever you talk, as you speak to me, I see things to be strategically connect to each other. So that's why this works for me better. It is not compulsory for you to do so, but it's just to show you it may be in this form because again, we do not know what Mohi wants. But when they want to know about your strategy, they just want to say whether you know what you're doing, whether you allow some kind of improvement along the way, and what is next. So I said, okay, this one is on on the unit 2, but I repeated this again and again and again in unit 3, unit 4, unit 5, unit 6. Because everything is there. When they want to talk about units 5 and 6, it's up here, down here. So it's always a continuation of a story. Again, narration is important. So that is about teaching, which you have it. And as I speak, you may say, aku pun sama. Yeah, that's right. Because you have the problem, you know CAO. Because again, because of what? That's what MQA asks us to do. but you may have a different way of presentation, which is better than mine, I'm sure. But at least you can, I'm putting you into a context where, okay, this is a strategy. In terms of supervision, again, I thought, okay, how do I engage my students? I have masters. I don't have many. I'm not that rich, having a lot of grant, to be having a lot of students. But when I had my student, I really took good care of them. And I would have imagined them to arrive to what? They're not just about preparing Q1, Q2 journals anymore. I have stretched them beyond that. This is me, okay? I have wanted them to have a few things more in life, especially when they did masters with me and then they wanted to do PhD with me. I told them, you cannot do the same like your master's time. You've got to reach out to slightly more so that you develop yourself further. So that is me engaging, coaching my students. So if I were to have like a framework, I start with them. They will focus on their thesis first of all, and then they will do publications as business. Nothing new in Malaysia. Publications from PGs where is there. So, but then the third box is different. I made my students, especially before COVID, they join competition. They join a lot of exhibition, ITEX, MTE, I brought them in. And then to a certain extent, they involve in society. They do CSR. They go, but under my control as well. They go to industry, they go to whatever under my control. I make them go. But number one is always about the thesis. If the thesis is good, if it's not, improve. If the thesis is good, did that improve themselves? Yes, they have got certain awards from competition. So you will see in the next few slides how my students progress and how I put them into my teaching portfolio as well. And let's say they improve themselves, and then I say, okay, can they go student exchange experience? This box was just created because the evidence that I already got, okay? Because I had sent my students to go to ARA for one semester exchange and to Deakin University in Australia. It's just happened. And let's put this box in because I have already asked them to go and then the box is nicely there. Or they can just share, they can coach, they can do their own webinar, they can just go to join postgrad committee members at the department and so on. Just go out, don't just keep it to themselves. So this is like the N and or box on a successful completion. So I crafted something that I wanted in my supervision because the journey of a successful teacher is not just in you, but it is also felt by whoever under your supervision. And they saw me as a role model when I won several awards. They got excited and I bring them along for any researchers award as well. So they got excited more. So as I prepared these two flowcharts, I already had the evidence. I already prepared them. I already walked the talk. Yeah, I already walked the talk. So this flowchart is just a way for me translating what my strategy was. It's nothing new. It's just now it makes so much sense because now I can illustrate them nicely and I knew what is the end. I knew where to start and I knew what is the end. So that is the beauty of when you know what strategy you want. If you were to do things without really having to know, okay, nak stop ke tak? What is next? You know, okay, what is next you're doing? So you may not know what is it that your end goal is. So maybe you've got to revisit back. For example, now I received several questions. Okay, you got the award in Malaysia, national level recognition. What is next? Are you going to international agenda? And I said, no, that's not me. Because I did not even put that in the box. I don't want to be internationally recognized, competing with others, because that's not my aspiration. So if you want to know about the answers, you got to keep until 12 o'clock, and then you ask me that question again, okay? But if you ask me what is next after national, beyond Malaysia, my answer is no, because I know what I want. And it's not even there, you know, internationally recognized. It's not in my full chart. So yeah, if you still wants to know the answer, then you can ask me later on. Okay, any questions on this slide? Dr. Aini, ada?
Oh, no question, but perhaps we can take a break.
Okay.
So it's
What time?
basically 10:30, maybe perhaps 10-minute break. We'll resume at 10:40.
Okay, I see you at 10:40. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum. Alhamdulillah. I hope that everyone have a good short break. Let's call again Dr. Zahira, Dr. Z to resume.
Okay. Okay. Let me jump back my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So just to recall, we are still in Unit 2, but do not worry. Everything will be fine as per time. We have talked about strategy in teaching and supervision. Okay, and then we talk about MQA, and then we talk about my proposed kind of strategy. Okay, now the second part is assessment. Okay, they wanted us to elaborate on your strategy, how you want to do your assessment. Okay, and this one I put a brainstorm here. Okay, they wanted a strategy for that. So what can I place? I don't want to prepare so many flowcharts as well. And it will be very subjective to different individuals. Okay, but and then one fine day, I just found out some kind of a data that I did. We had learning plan. I say I'm sure you have it as well. So and I thought, okay, let's show this kind of assessment learning plan. So you may have better version of assessment strategy, but sometimes I thought, okay, let's try to put this one lah. If they can get it, take it, then it's good. If not, maybe I will improve with time. But because my assessment would be somehow, but with my very limited knowledge, I have done the normal assessment, graded version, non-graded version. It's just I didn't want to have too much of the diagram version anymore, so I put this table form. So this table form shows the weekly basis of what I did and what is it that I want to cover and the kind of assessment. So I was hoping this would be sufficient. So then again, if you have a better version of strategy that you can think of for your assessment, then just put it. No harm. Okay, that would be just so good. Okay, and then again, that was teaching. So would there be any strategy for assessment for supervision? So for that reason, I thought, okay, now they wanted to know what would be my strategy in terms of supervising for assessment. I put back my flowchart. I put back my flowchart here because everything that I do or everything that I did are somehow very related back to this flowchart. And then I was, crafting my head. What kind of strategy should I put for my assessment? Because I didn't have any specific assessment. And then, okay, bingo. And then I found this thing. This is our Center of Graduate Studies. There was a form. You see my form? I did not put a big form, A4, It's just to show, okay, we had this Center of Graduate Studies in UTP by the name of CGS. We always have assessment 2 times a year. So this is their document. So I just put this report documentation is there. So the system is there. At least that is the structured version prepared by the university. I said, okay, it's there already. But me as an individual, what did I do? And I said, okay, I made a lot of meetings with them. And you see how ugly my screenshot is? Yes, this is just a screenshot to show in my Microsoft Teams history of meetings. And the good thing is that I always have PhD progress meeting, master's progress meeting for my students. And I just screenshot, it's not as a great evidence at all. I just put there nicely in one page. And then coupling it, I have the evidence of when I ever engage with my student. I just put there as an evidence. So, and I said, okay, this is how I supervise them. From time to time, I make biannual or monthly, bi-weekly or monthly meeting with them. This is the best I can coach them. And that is within my capacity. But in a more structured, marking, graded things, I leave it to the Center of Graduate Studies. So That's it. As simple as that. This is exactly what I copy paste from my teaching portfolio. You see, your portfolio can just be naive as the evidence is, like this one, copy paste from my Microsoft Teams, and I highlighted those in yellow. As long as it's documented, okay? It does not need to be revised. Okay, I've got to have a table form to show that this. No. But even if you put in this form, they know this is real. This is the raw source of evidence. They put it is nicely. So you have different version now. You have data, you have graphical, and I say, okay, this is my snapshot. And then with my ugly red arrows, okay, here, you know. So that's it. So it all about your narration. So this is the narration that is very important. That's why I say your system cannot do the narration, but you got to write down a little bit what is there as a strategy to assess your PG student in terms of supervision and evidence. So throughout my teaching portfolio, you have this kind of version. And again, I like, you know, something to be like saying it, the form I made it to be different view, but it's there. So rather than putting one page A4 size on one page, it's too much of information over the size, you know. So that's it. Okay, and then this is little error. Okay, comes back to this. Okay, comes back to this. We have the start button. I have explained just now. But what is it that I say they have improved themselves and they have successful in improving themselves? So for this and teaching portfolio, and then I brought them back. Okay, now I need all of you to prepare your success stories in 1 to 2 pages summary. I said, what, madam? Yes, because I knew I had asked them to do things in their life, not just papers anymore, but slightly beyond. But I wanted them to document that. I just gave a template, list down all these things. So what you're going to see here, this is on my own initiatives, goes back. So I put these details in the appendix. Okay, so this appendix is about appendix number 2, postgraduate success stories. Again, why this is important? Because I wanted to show, hey, I am a good supervisor. My students always say, you are a mother to us. Okay lah, mother pun mother lah, you know. But when I coach them nicely that way, because I have one inspiration, I want them to be successful. And they did, because they took up the challenge. Okay, madam, I want to do this. So they have done a lot of things. So this template was my own initiative. I said, okay, put your photo, put your details on the right, and list down what you have achieved. So if a reviewer sees this, don't you think they would impress to see how you are as a supervisor? Okay, so this is like one, Muzammil, and then I have Aifa. And the good thing is that they put their photos with me. So you see, I have my photos. Where is my photos? Here. And then I have my photos here again. So this is my master's. Not all PhDs, not necessarily, because I groom them to be getting what they want. So whatever awards that they got and wherever they participated, I just put them. So this is Nisa. And then Nisa had a talk with the industry. So that's good enough. Nisa had one community engaged. So that's good enough. What is important is the evidence. And then this is Dr. Ibrahim on the left side. He put his photos, and Azizul. So you see all this compilation. It does not need to be many, but you select whoever that you have groomed. Well, these are all there in the pool anyway that time. I don't have many students, but I make them write down what they have achieved in life, because I really foster them towards that route. So this, I put it at the end. You see this one? I was talking to him. He even put a photo. So it's nice. It supports the document better. But it's just I put them in the appendix. But they are real. And it goes back to how well I have strategized them. Okay, so that is how the impact towards the framework of strategy I put for my students. So I'm sure you have your own stories as well, but whatever it is, evidence matters. Whether you like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, evidence matters. Okay? Okay, now, chapter 3, which is very generic and suits your own journey closely. So I may just go skip this slightly fast because it's about what you have done. Okay? But it is the hardcore of the topic to explain about your journey. So this is when I will tell you which years to choose. There was a question just now, which course to take, and there was also another question just now. But in this chapter 3, I believe they want to see your innovation and impact in teaching and learning. Okay? Creativity and innovation towards teaching and learning, there are like 4 of them, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, as per the table of content that we saw just now. Number 1, there must be a statement. Again, they put a statement, you see, they put a statement because you cannot just copy paste, cut, okay, hantar. No. They want a narration. They want to see how you address this, how you bring this story of yours in creativity and innovation. So coming tonight, you got to have a summary. A summary on your innovation in teaching and learning over the 10 years. If it happens with me as well. You're going to see one chart in the ladder form that I'm going to show you in the next slide. That was my journey. And I tried just to make a story out of that. And that's why narration matters. Sometimes, okay, in my hand, it's just like a water bottle, pink, and what is it, transparent. But it's just an image. But how do you narrate this? If you were to, okay, let me try. Okay, if I were to say, this container has 2 components. One is the covers it from exposures, and it's amazingly it's pink, and on the bottom part, which you can see the transparent of whatever content inside, which tells you the level of water inside. I think that's a narration. It sounds crazy, but when you put a nice story towards that, it makes wow. So make a nice narration. You want to sell yourself in this statement, okay? So that's fine. And you have to have all the evidence. I am so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, you've got to spend time, get all the evidence and arrange them nicely. Because whatever you mention here, you will have to detail them out one by one according to your storyline or your narration. You got to put the documents. Okay. But I enjoyed this so much because I have all the evidence. As what you have in your system, for example. And for us in UTP, every end of the year, when we want to go for our annual assessment, we got to prepare them. So I've got to open up all those files and extract them out one by one. It's already there. It's just place it nicely and make a nice narration for them. Okay, so this is what I did. Okay, so these are the questions asked before. How did I do? So like I said, I came back around PhD in 2011. So I started my story by 2012. And then at that time, still ding dong, whatever, just jet lag for 1 year. But then I tried to see what I had done in that, because I prepared my teaching and learning assessment portfolio 2021. But along the way, I had done something along the way. So I said, okay, let's have this ladder form, it's in a PowerPoint anyway. And then I said, okay, let's put whatever I did. If I didn't do anything, I didn't do anything because I repeated the same thing again. So I was being very transparent with that. I didn't lie. I just said, okay, apparently when the economic in the oil and gas was still good, we could just bring the students out, field trips all the time. So there will be field trips, there will be small scale demonstration, there will be site demonstration. I did this for the first 3 years. I just said it. It's just the site varies, I brought them to UTP first. I brought them out. I assessed them differently, but the activities are the same. The themes are the same. And I said, okay, I have been doing this for the next 3 years. And then came MOOC. what is MOOC? I said, okay, everybody made MOOC. I said, okay, let's try MOOC lah. So in 2016, very, very naive, Zahira, okay, let's try a little MOOC here. And I said, okay, we made a MOOC. And then I showed that in my annual year assessment. Wow, Zahira made MOOC, little MOOC. So I spelled it out. 17 didn't do much. And then something, new ideas came in, 2018. Still World Cafe. So what is World Cafe? I will show to you later on. And then the crazy idea of mine, let's do Explore race. But I call it Explore Crit race. So I did that to different course. So along the way, all these things, you see different innovation that I try to different course. Because the intention was very naive. At the end of the year, they want to see some new innovation that I did. So these were there. Okay. So the evidence were there. The effort was there. It's just I got to document that in a manner that people can understand my journey. And then came COVID. So I said, okay, TFH, teach from home. So I did something crazy as well. Because I got an award for that for some reason. And then 2021, I didn't do much, but that was the ODL time. Okay, ODL, what do we do? And at that time, I said, okay, let's just go to the green room, do my recordings, because most of the lecturers are so shy at the green room. They didn't want to videotape themselves. And I said, okay, let's give it a try, because UTP has a green room. Let's just do ODL. So you see, with this format, I am able to explain my journey at different time. And it's just I'm good at with one thing. I can link back my aspiration of that year to the different timeline of students' interests. Okay? So that goes back to your creativity. With you now, if you were to write down, I'm sure some of you sketch, okay, this year did this gamification, problem-based learning, whatever you have done, you will have to place them here. This was like the first summary that they saw, because throughout I will explain them one by one. Okay. So you can pick and choose of that year, of that timeline. What is it that you do the most interesting part? But if you can narrate some kind of continuation to that or not, up to you. But believe me, everything for me, these are outdoor-based activities, outdoor-based education for me. So it goes back to my pedagogy, because that's what my belief. I believe they cannot just study in class. I believe they got to do things. I believe. So in all these activities that you saw in front of you, they all speak about the same theme. So that's why whatever I mentioned in the first page, they see them again. So they see them here. Okay. But, okay, you got to have all the photos, letter of appointment, certificate, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So then, okay, question to some of you. If you team teaching, what do you do? So these are my niche areas, okay? You can look at the timeline, 2012 until 2021, I've been teaching. My master's strength is hydraulics. And then after PhD, I was really good in pipelines. Anything pipelines is me. But there was this brain there, because they gave me suddenly, Zahira, teach engineers in society. I said, okay, engineers in society is hard. I don't like it. I don't like management course because there's so much reading. I'm so sorry. But it's just, I've got to take that time in 2016. And those are like 4-year undergrad of all disciplines. It's not just civil, chemical, mechanical, electrical, petroleum. You can imagine me being in the huge crowd teaching operation management. I was like few days study though. Okay, how do I teach that student? And they gave me operation management, a management course. Okay, I don't like it because again, I'm engineer. We like numbers. We like to calculate. But this one is wholly on theories and management. So, but I got to survive. So my point is that it's not that you get to choose sometimes, but if you are good in teaching, you may be able to find ways. So that's why this is when I use MOOCs for operation management, because Several reasons. Let's go to that later on. Okay. You will see a lot of example icon here. Okay, I forgot to mention about that because again, those are just examples from my experience, from what I did. It may vary from person to person, from course to course. Okay, but you can just have some ideas from there. Okay, number one, as simple as that. The first 3 years, I said, just bring students out. I was teaching them about hydraulics about rivers, longkang, drains. I said, okay, this is UTP, nice view. So this was me. This was my PG student, Dr. Muzamil. So we were doing some kind of river gauging. We use an instrument in the lab. We brought the instrument to the site. This is a very nice view of UTP. You should come, by the way. And now, as we speak, we have a lot of dinosaurs there, okay? So the students learned something. They got to do this in the first day of class, and I gave them things to do. They will have to measure what is velocity. So within my control, and I can do it every year at no cost for free, as long as they go outside. Again, that's my aspiration on outdoor-based learning. So then what did I do? In UTP, back in 2006, we had, me and my team, we had done a consultancy project for TNB. We made a big pond for them. This is a big pond for Pergao Dam. So it was still there. So consultancy finished within 1 year, but now the pond is there. So it's hydraulics. And I said, okay, let's just go down for site demonstration. And then this is a big point, and hydraulics, the most important part, you cannot touch the water. So you imagine we build a facility in the lab in UTP, they will have to be on a suspended bridge, which is moving towards here and that side. So the students got excited. Wow, we can do this, madam. We can still measure velocity like this. And I said, yes. So I bring them to see the industry application. And it's free, you know, that's it. That's what I said. Theories is one side. Now let's go to application. Let's go to this Pergao Dam. And then I put some kind of evidence. And students put, this one was not mine. This was the students' Facebook. Back that time, I still had my Facebook account. So she said, madam, whatever she wrote lah. And I said, okay, let's copy paste, put there. And you can still see me looking different at that time. So this was my ideas, the first 3 years. And later on, when there was this shift about online things, and we had Prof. Karim came to UTP to teach us about flipped classroom and a few things. And I said, okay, maybe we have to make clips, you know. I will be showing you one clip for this one. But then, the YouTube links has to be made available. You will have to make certain summary of that, how you want to present your YouTube clips in your teaching portfolio. And you will be using them as supporting documents for certain parts. But I will show you, we will go through my teaching portfolio to see how I crafted that arrangement, okay? So, and then what did I do? Here's the most. Operation management is hard, okay? I cannot learn within a few weeks just to teach them. But there's abundance of information in MOOC platform. So what I did, I opened up one of operation management. You see, one operation management. Operation management for engineers in society. So for the very first time, I made my MOOC, and they could use all the information available. Everybody have already done a lot of things on these theories. It's just I will apply. So I did not do things from scratch, but what I did in terms of the activities, then they will have to do something for that topic. So I was just busy crafting the activities and assessment. So this like they do supply chain management, they do paper plane activities, and they do marshmallow spaghetti tower. So these like the 3 top activities that I did for this little topic of operation management, and they love it. I had to go for this option so that my learning curve in terms of operation management will not be so steep, but the abundant materials are there. but you just have to craft it back to the right activities for the students. And it's a lot of students, around 200, 300 students. So I've got to engage them, and got to engage them in this big crowd. So what you do fun activities. So they liked it. This was like my MOOCs. But again, evidence. You see, I screenshot my MOOCs. And photos. And this was the assessment question for this activity when they did supply chain. And then a lot of evidence. You have to be creative in preparing the evidence. Okay, I'm going to let you see me a bit. This was the year when I went crazy. They gave me another new topic, by the way. They gave me to teach materials. Okay, and then because my little research was about materials, then the department gave me to teach about civil engineering materials. And the part about this materials course, it's not designed to be doing lab in that semester. The lab will come coming semester. So I thought, okay, let's make game. So this is like my gamification version of physical activities by the name of Explore-Crit Race. It came from Explore Race, you see. But because this is concrete, we make concrete, we are civil engineers, and then I put crit there lah, Explore-Crit Race. So I gave them some kind of activities they got to study. Then what they do, why is it a race? Because I said, within 2 hours next week, you're going to go to the lab. You're going to do Explore-Crit Race. You're going to be very fast. You're going to make concrete. That's it. So really, madam, 2 hours? Yes. It's an Explore-Crit Race. And the winners of the strongest concrete will get something from it. So you can imagine how crazy they were. And these are like the cubes. And this submission, this one was 2019, you see, before COVID. And then something happened, like everything, COVID. And then that was the work from home. So I put it there, teach from home. I had to teach concrete again. So what did I do? How can I do Explore-Crit Race? I could not do. But the answers is here in the YouTube clips. I sent these clips. I made this clip. I'm sorry if the clip was not three minutes long because there was so much information. But please listen. And you got to see how I shifted from doing Explore-Crit Race to be doing from home. And then I got gold award for this in 2021, I can't remember, after COVID. So this one was a gold award. I'm going to share the screen. I'm not so sure whether you can hear. Let's try to see. You hear?
No, we can't hear.
Should I share with sound?
Maybe you can. Also, this is in YouTube.
Should I share with sound? Okay. Because last time, if I were to use Microsoft Teams, I have to share with sound. But this one, if anybody knows advanced sharing option. Okay, not this one is fine. Can I hear, yeah?
Can you try again? Yes, we cannot hear.
Can you hear?
Not yet, Dr. Zahiraniza. I think if you click on the share screen, there is one small button at
Okay.
yeah, when you click share screen, and then there should be one option, share with sound. There's
I don't think I see that button. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. Advanced sharing option. There was nothing with sound. Yeah. Or okay.
You just click the share screen, not the point up.
Okay.
Share sound.
Right. Sorry. Share sound. Let's try again. Okay, let's try. Can you? Hi, I am Zahiraniza Mustaffa from Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS. So today
hear
I'm
now.
going to share with you my teaching and learning approach entitled Impactful Alternative Assessment for an Engineering Material Course, is a material course, during the pre and present COVID-19 pandemic. So what about the course? So basically, this is a material engineering course. At the end of the day, students will be able to make all these concrete bricks. So basically, it's a purely theoretical course that they can learn by themselves because it's a reading base. And the problem with this course in the previous semesters is like they don't like to attend the class. So the students' interest to sustain them would be very challenging. And now everything has to be online. How do you go about? So that is the question that we like to answer. How do we transfer the physical teaching and learning vibes to students virtually? Okay, so before the coming of COVID-19, I have imposed one activity which seems to be very dynamic and interesting during lectures. So it is by the name of Explore Create Race. Explore Create Race is from the basis of Explore Race. Explore Race is a very famous series in the on TV, and eventually somehow or other all things in the country nowadays, as you can see from the posters, everything is based on Explore Race. So I have proposed this Explore Race to be made in a class during one day event demonstration where they would come in a group, they work together very fast, time is a constraint, and eventually they've got to prepare this concrete mix. So these are the instructions I give beforehand for them to learn. And then they became busy on that day of event. They got to do the mixing. That time they already wore the mask, but these masks are not meant for COVID-19. It was for protection from dirt. And then I made certain assessment with following certain rubrics. So they got the scores, and the best part is that I give them prizes at the end in the form of books. So they were so happy. So they liked this activity. They liked the course, began to like the course. However, it's just too good to be true, isn't it? When they were having this interest, the liking is there, but then comes the pandemic. So you can't really have a physical contact anymore. So what is the problem statement? The problem statement is now, how would you make the course to be interesting virtually? And from there, I propose what we call impactful alternative assessment. So what is it? So I define impactful alternative assessment as something that introducing an alternative approach to the new norm of teaching and learning during COVID-19, but significant enough and impactful enough to be made online without compromising the quality, but you have to be at home. So you got to use anything available at home. So in this short summary, the framework was like there are the before and after. So before, you have physical contacts, but now everything is virtual. And then speaking about number 2, assessment. Last time I didn't need to put so much effort in the weekly assessment. But now I have to make the weekly assessment. They don't like it, but it's good. The third one, you've got to have more demo. How do you want to make a demo when you are on the screen and they are on the other side of the screen? So this is what I'm going to share with you. So the approach is like, so the present one, I make demo with whatever available at home. And with those definition, with those description, comes back to all the engineering explanation, whatever I have. Rambutan, a box of duster, oranges, and this is the real concrete that they have to understand. By using whatever materials you have at home helps them to bring the reality into something conceptual engineering. Okay, then I have a cat. So apparently that time there was a cat moving on the table. The cat was moving, and then I grab it and I said, okay, now I'm going to show to you how is the shear force. Shear force is simply a force pushing on a structure, on a surface. So I make a replicate of shear force onto my cat, and students was like, wow, that is really, really nice. And then I explained in terms of the geometry. And later on, I brought them outside, mobilized them within whatever vicinity. So for me, the civil engineering materials are always abundant outside when there are always construction activities by my neighboring neighbors. So I brought them out with the handphone, with the laptop, I'm sorry. And then with all the materials I showed to them, it was online verbally. Then I brought them to my kitchen. Why? Because I'm going to show them how to make this concrete, which is the last photo here on the right bottom. But before making the concrete, there should be some sieve analysis that they have to learn. So in making that, I begin showing how does the cake was made from the process of sieve analysis, where you have to sieve the flour. So imitating whatever they know, familiar with, like the cake, and making that into eventually a similar case of concrete was fun. So that was it. Then what are the benefits? I'm going to share with you the benefits of doing this virtual teaching and learning. Number one, as you are recording this session, and if your session are not boring enough, because you bring them all over the places, all over the houses, so they will be stored in the platform that you are using. For us in UTP, we use the big blue button, BBB, so we can store all the clips from time to time. And these below are the example of all my clips made during class. Some of them in the class, some of them in the lectures, some of them in my kitchen, some of them in my bedroom, whatever replicates to suit the context of that day lecture. So that is what we do, number one. Number two, in order to engage them, you will have to make them come to your class online. So what I do, I would just heads up, hey, we're going to have quizzes, 5 questions, very short, within 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the lecture. So these are all the barcodes for my online quizzes, and which is, I never used it before. And now in this assessment, these are the blue calculation, which give 15% from all this distribution of the quizzes. So this is good for a virtual online learning experience. And then speaking about the impact was really good and can be measured in different ways. So number one was about the students' performance. I'm bringing you one graph showing the previous semester, which is non-COVID-19 pandemic attack, which is the blue line, where you see there were like 33 students having the mean of B. Whereas for the present one in this semester, May to 2020 semester, with 32 students, around the same number of students, the mean and median shifted to A minus. And I got nice things, you know. They said that, okay, I got a score around 4.38 to the scale of 5. That's how they evaluated me. But the most important thing is, like, I have given a sharing session to all the lecturers in UTP on a simple way that everybody can do from home. This is what we call the community of practice, organized by our CITAL. And from there, we shared within 20-30 minutes on the 15th of July on what have been conducted and how this can be beneficial to anyone else teaching a material-based course. Now, what do you think? Do you think it's still a challenge? It's still a challenge. You just need to know how to make an impactful assessment as an alternative to keep the teaching and learning in a fun way, and not to give up on your students very, very soon. There are always ways to live within this new norm of teaching and learning community. With that, I thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay, a little bit too long, but it's like a break for us as well. So this was about the appropriate race version COVID-19 problem. Okay, so that was 3.1, 3.2. Now let's go to 3.3. In the 3.3, they ask you what kind of assessment that you have done in all this innovation that involve higher order thinking. So this is amazing when the table of content purposely identify one subtopic to be highlighting on the higher order thinking. Okay, so that one was not straightforward. It's not memory dumping, so it will be level Bloom Technical Taxonomy level higher. But what I did, for example, because I brought them to the site visits a lot, I gave them projects of the dam, because for hydraulics, we always go to the dam. So I actually, in many dams in Perak, I brought my students to, So I would be giving them the actual dam problem, like this one is Bersia hydraulic dam. So the higher order thinking is that I will have something to be asked during that, and I will replicate that in final exam questions. So I will say, recall what you have worked on a Bersia dam previously, design a dam, illustrating blah, 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 blah. So whatever there, they got to memorize, understand the concept. So this is when I crafted my outdoor-based questions, comes back to the classroom assessment. And I'm not going to have enough time to show you because I already have also one clip. You can Google me by Zahira Hydraulics. You will find this clip. So this is like my research instrument, which I have a few students graduated upon. But I make this clip. The students learn, watch many times, and then they go to the lab. They do their own measurement for something that I ask. For example, this one was their experiment I asked them to do, and they would be getting the kind of questions that I brought them to those site demonstration in tests and in final exam. So they know what to expect. It will not be direct, so they will have to understand a lot more. So this is about assessment. And finally, impact. You cannot be too excited on whatever you have crafted and compromising impact. No way. So what you do, and Mohi has speculated there should be one impact subsection by itself, so that it's evident that you put things in. But you just have to measure them by various approaches. I'm sure this one, as we speak, you know how to get students' reflections, student surveys, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of approaches. You just have to put them here, but you've got to be creative on how to address them. Okay, like I put down in terms of pie chart, really nice. One corner of my teaching portfolio, I have like, and their perspection, I put there whatever positive they say and whatever negative they say, I put it down for some kind of questions that I ask. So again, the representation is nice. You do not go for the normal way of reporting 1, 2, 3, long. Okay, but I'm sure as we speak, this generation of lecturers, they really know about how these things can be done. And then I also tried to show impact because, okay, we were still in chapter 3.4, impact. I tried to compare between 2 semesters. I think many of you would have this in mind. Should I compare or should I not? And I don't want to give any gaps in my teaching portfolio. So I just chose one scenario. Between 2 semesters, I chose a course. And I chose a course. This one was taken from my concrete materials because I am sure they were excited to see my explocrete race. And you have seen this graph as well. So I showed a course. One is during the explocrete race by me, and another one by different lecturer without explocrete race. But I didn't mention the name. It's just I put there what is the range of results that they got. So this one was the documentation. I think it's also important for you to show different semesters' performance. If there are changes, that would be so good. If you can have more than 2 semesters, go ahead. And then we had user system. So this one, maybe you would be interested to know as well. Should I put a system? Yes, you can have one system, but you do not need to put the whole page by page. You've got to copy paste some instrument, but I give them this link of website. And then I say, okay, I'm just going to show one example of hydraulics taught in 2017 involving how many semesters, because then they will see how I assign, how I develop my system, although it's standard in the university, but it's just for the sake of putting one example is good. It will not take too many pages as well. And for that reason, okay, you can compare 2 different lecturers. It's up to you whether you want to do this or not. But when I did this, it is important for me to show how something, Dr. X, I did not mention name, Dr. X, who taught this hydraulics back in May 2017, this is what he got for sustaining the CO, COL01, COL02, COL03, and PO1, PO2, PA3. So this is when I did several innovations in the class and at what year and how many students. So you will have to choose something close to by the number of students maybe not, far away, because you want to have a good sample comparison. And you can see how the grade shifted. This like A, B, C, his is here, C learning, C plus, mine has been shifted towards the left, a better quality. And this is how my PO being scored, okay? So it's good enough, maybe, but you got to be careful with this, not to mention anyone's name. Maybe you can ask for permission, but for me, I just put this way. And I want to show, hey, I have done something different, and compared to someone else who did differently or no innovation, this is what we got. So this will strengthen your case better. Any questions on chapter 3? Before we go to assessment, chapter 4.
So far, no questions, Doctor.
Okay, that's good. Okay, now chapter 4, very important part about assessment and testimonial. This is about you now. This is about how to show you are good. So this one, I thought, okay, how to do this one, I tried to see what are the systems that we have back here in UTP that can support this part. So that's why I have this brain. Piki. And I said, remember, okay, every semester, there will be students evaluating the lecturers in the middle of the semester and in the final time of the semester. And then I thought, okay, maybe I can use that information to be in my course portfolio. But then I thought, okay, I have taught like how many courses within that 10 years. And then I thought, okay, I cannot just put one by one. I don't want it to be too messy, not really nice. So what I did, I have asked some help. Okay. So I have asked some help to compile several years of my students' evaluation. So maybe 10 years lah. So instead of me putting one, so we have here by the name of CITAL, Center of Teaching and Learning, under Center of Academic Excellence. So I approached my bosses there. Okay, can you help me to compile my results? But can you also sign them, approve them? So that is more valid, okay? Because this one is about you, and you don't want to, have any contradictory or integrity when you put what you got. So I say, can you just put my semesters, January, May, whatever courses I taught. So that this one, back in 2012, you see, until 2021. Amazing, because they have the data. So I said, can you please put there and lift up the courses that I taught? So I said, for example, in that year, I taught 2 courses. And then this is the score I got, over 7, 6.4, 6.3. And then in this next semester, what else? So this nice compilation is just somewhere later on. I cut this short, okay, but it's actually long. So they can see how you scored in their time scale and approve, endorsed and approved by someone. So I save space in my teaching portfolio. I just have this for 1 or 2 pages only with all the compilation. Approved. Really nice. And then comes testimonial. So you see, 4.1 is assessment, evaluation, and then testimonial. So this is hard. There are several ways you can do this. You may be able to approach certain individuals for their letters of something about you. But I thought, okay, that would be too limited, because I can ask maybe 10% the most. And their letters, I don't want to put their letters as one page as an evidence. And it will not be conclusive because it does not go into many more people. So this one is up to you, how you want to approach this part. But to me, I felt like I like this way better. I wanted to reach out to various groups of people because I know my network, I know my stakeholders, and I wanted to get use of them. So I planned well. So when I was doing my EAN book, I do this simultaneously. So this was parallel. This one was not there before. Whatever data, students' reflection, student perception that I got, I already put them in the content. Perhaps it was in chapter 3 a bit, when they felt, when they like it or not. But this one was like a dedicated section where I have thrown away one survey question. So simple thing, you see, greetings from me, Zahira. May I have 5 minutes of your time, please? So in that question, this is what I asked. Please provide your opinions about the candidate. Candidate is me. Competency based on your best perspective, which may be in any of the following items. They can talk about my teaching, they can talk about my supervising, mentoring, personal attribute, etc. That's it. And then I send to all my people. And the best part is that I got nearly 100 respondents, mashallah. And I had covered different groups, various. So they speak about me. I have this as the statistics, undergrad of the present student. I could go more, but those time, this was the student that I taught, 32. And then I got postgrad students around 8. And then supervision of final year project undergrad, I got around 4 at that time. And then supervision by coursework mark, I got 14 because I taught ODL and so on. I got undergrad alumni, 38. I make full use of alumni because they knew how I was in the class. You know, they knew me. And if they could remember you still, that was the best. And amazingly, in these 38 descriptions, they wrote descriptions like this. And I put this, around 12 pages were just about what they talk about me. They talk funny, okay lah. There was one funny, okay, she's a good lecturer, increase her salary. Okay lah, I like it. I put it there. I did not ignore anything. So you're going to see around 100 scripts by students. So this one was, I spent time on this and I get ex-colleague as well. Department people, my colleague at department, my colleague at faculty, my colleague at university, my bosses. I reach out to my bosses. Ex-colleague who have gone to work in elsewhere. Industry, I got 12 of them from industry. And Forever Society and others. Pensioners comes from 3. So you see, if you have reached out to various people, they can talk about you. And you know they will say something about you. Regardless positive and negative, you're just random. But they want to see how these various people see you as a person. So that is chapter 4. So I enjoyed doing chapter 4 because I did not have to put so much effort. I prepared the evaluations previously, and then I asked some kind of questionnaire. So chapter 4, but you got to plan really well because you need people to support you providing this information. So it's crucial how you plan it, okay? Okay, any problems and any questions on chapter 4?
So far, no question.
Okay. I think they are hungry as well. Okay. Okay. Chapter 5. This one is hard. Okay. Chapter 5 is hard. Because you see the brain there? The topic is improvement in teaching and learning and professional development. Okay. If you have a lot of data, then it's good. But you got to show explanation how you develop yourself in that 10 years journey. If you do not have data, then you've got to find out. Maybe there are things that you have done, it's just you didn't realize it falls into this category. So my case was more on the latter, but I think they wanted to see how we improve and develop ourselves professionally in teaching and learning. Okay, as per the table of content, there are several points. 5.1 is about improvement in teaching and learning that you have done. So for this reason, I say, okay, how can you show you have progressively improved in 10 years? You have to tell the journey. For example, I bring back my framework because I improve with this iteration. Improve, self-improve, and then go back, you know. So this was like my first story. Okay, I will be doing a lot of improvement throughout my reflection. But on how do I do so, you'll see this again. But now I want you to see the bottom part. So this is the scale of improvement. So this was not there, but I knew I received some kind of improvement. I have done it. I have done fair to myself. Then I got to do something. What is it that I did within this timeline that I made myself improve? So I put the stretch, for example, I keep on doing professional teaching and learning innovation. I organize courses. I do training throughout the years. I see that's how I try to improve myself. And then the higher order assessment is there, especially when MQA imposed a lot of higher order assessment, and I said it's there throughout. I didn't choose a certain timeline. But then there was a time I got Sotal Grind. Sotal Grind is the Scholars of Teaching and Learning. I said, hey, I can put it there, you know. So I put it there around 2015, 2018, somehow. I did some kind of teaching and learning research. And then I have involved adjunct lectures. I called by alumni. I called by industries to my classes. I said, okay, I can say it, I can park them under external involvement. I said, okay, I started to use them a lot. And then at the same time, it improved my knowledge as well through them. So that's my part of improvement. And then I shared my stories, what I did in the class. And that time, UTP had given the platform for code of practice. So it was around this time, 2019 and beyond. So I put it there. And I was one of the member for Erasmus Mundus Mare Grind. So that was like nice, really, really nice. Around 2020 and so on, up to 20. Recently, we completed that. And then what to put here? I was like, okay, there was a visual field trip that I did. And I said, okay, let's just put it there. So what I'm trying to tell you is that sometimes you have everything on your plate, but you just have to illustrate that better in terms of certain way of graphical forms, and then you narrate. And then you put a lot of photos, letter of appointment, and certificates. For example, this was my Sotal Grind. I put the letter, I put the amount of money we got, and this is my Mare Grind. I put the letter. I did not put big letter, remember? I just snapshot part, but they saw my name, and they saw how much was it and the time. And then I did a lot of external involvement, adjunct lecture, and fortunately, we always have posters, like my poster that you saw today. So there are always posters that we made every time. So what I said, okay, let's just compile those posters, because these were the people I called to my class. So you can imagine how many people I have brought in. This was our alumni. This was from PETRONAS, and so on and so forth. So from simple posters that you made in the class, but you put it really nicely. So again, exactly, this is what you saw in my one-page teaching portfolio. I put all the posters because these are the evidence. They don't need to read through all, but as long as you organize the evidence nicely and presentation-wise is really, really good in the eyes, that's good. Okay? Yeah, this one actually. Be opportunities, because whatever I have in my basket, I put them out. I do not keep any evidence in my keeping. And then, like I said, that year, I was doing the annual, the teaching portfolio that time, like a week before we had virtual site trip. Virtual site trip going to offshore platform is very rare. So we called in people, and then they showed everything about how they did virtual site visit, because at this time we could not go out anymore. So I engaged, snapshot the photo session, snapshot the poster whom I called, and these were the comments given by my students about that virtual site visit. It's just landed nicely when I wanted to submit my teaching portfolio. And then I was also an alumni coordinator. Department said, Zahira, become an alumni coordinator. So I said, okay, as the alumni coordinator, we had made some clips to engage alumni. And then I said, okay, I reach out to alumni and bring them back into my classes. So these are the snapshots of the Civil Engineering UTP YouTube link involving all the alumni. And I said, wow, this is a lot. This is different. But again, I've been doing it. It's there. I just have to place them back. So that was 5.1. And the professional development, this is hard as well. You see the brain? Whenever there's a brain, I say, okay, what should put in this section? So professional development is like for you to engage yourself. How do you become professional development? So this one comes back to my flow chart. Am I there? Have I improved myself? And how do I do next? So this one is about you show how you have progressively improved, in what form, So then you will have to tell different stories. So what did I do? Okay, this is the next one. My example. Okay, I have to see what was it that I was working on that time. That was around 2019, 2020. Okay, that time I was busy. Busy as I am an engineer and I'm a woman, I can sell my story this way. That's my advantage. Because why? I was busy to prepare my journey as a PE, IR. And I said, okay, this is also part of my journey. It's not teaching, you see, it's not teaching, but it's also an outside activities, but you develop yourself. And the advantage of this goes back to your teaching, to your university. So I was there. And then I thought, okay, what can I brainstorm when I was about to do this professional engineer? And then I remembered I was heavily involved with the IEM, Institution of Engineers Malaysia, under the Women Engineers section. And then I said, okay, I told them the story. Yeah, in order to develop myself as an IR, I have tried slowly going to join them. So I was a committee member for a conference 2018. I joined these ladies, great ladies. They were my mentors. I learned by them. I got inspired by them. So I told the stories, And when they appointed me to become part of their committee members, so these are the letters I say. And from there, I became inspired. I became confident to submit my document, the IR book, again, another IR book. So being in the story that you part of a system, part of an organization, but you want to develop yourself matters. So I had this platform, and it's just like I was good at making it into a nice narration. And later on, when I was with them, I prepared several bulletins. I snapshot my work in their women's engineering section bulletin. I joined their program. I made some clips for something during COVID. So I showed it with them, and all these YouTube links are made to be available there. And they give me some kind of certificate. So I put. So you can see my teaching portfolio is very rich with images and documents. It's not just solely descriptions. Those are just narrations that I put when necessary. But the narrations are clear enough to be able to explain the details. And then I joined a lot of professional certification. Letak je, letak je. Whatever you had, letak je. Because you don't know which one will be counted. So I said, okay, I joined this event. Whether it's related to teaching and learning, doesn't matter. And then I mentored several people in the department. I remember, they gave me surat, So they gave me surat letters to mentor 3 lecturers. And then I put them as a heading. So that's why I created these subtopics to show what I had. So for you, it's not the same, but you can replicate something similar. You're not supposed to put professional certification. I'm not forcing you to. You don't need to put coaching elementary. I'm not forcing you to, but you can do that. And finally, they want to see how you excel in scholarships in teaching and learning. Scholars, you have to become a scholar. So that's like the conclusion. That's the final unit, the final chapter. Are you a scholar in teaching and learning? Oh man, this is hard, I put a big brain there because I foresee how would you be able to disseminate knowledge? I foresee, okay, if you a scholar by definition, it can be many ways. But maybe how you bring yourself into the public. And as a person, as an icon in teaching and learning, and it's okay, maybe I can use those information here. So, in 6.1, the table of content, they say, how do you share? How do you share your knowledge? And I said, okay, there can be many ways. So the yellows handwriting are just coming from me. So maybe how I share, how I disseminate my knowledge can be through the COP that I had in UTP. And then maybe beyond borders, as I created this. And maybe whenever I give academic or motivational talks, I can disseminate my knowledge as well. And little things on publication. I'm not really good in publication, teaching and learning, but I'm good in my own research. But little thing I just put there lah. Okay, but you got to put all those photos. So for example, number one, this I put the photos they prepared for me when I had to give my community of practice. So I was very fortunate because we always have these in UTP. So people share things. So I had mine. I just put 2 sessions. That's enough. And then whenever I had to go overseas, I happened to be sponsored to go to Turkmenistan to teach the students and to go to Indonesia to become a judge for a concrete competition. So I put those photos, the letters, the sessions, and then just like that, and some stories about it. And then how I disseminate my knowledge through talks, because we love to talk, especially it can be any academic talks where I was the faculty members, I was the moderator. You just have to find back those pictures, you know, and then just put there. And then we want to bring people to, because during COVID, many students were sad. And then my students said, "Madam, do you want to talk?" I said, "Okay." Motivational talk? I said, "Okay." Boleh je. And then I gave a motivational talk and then I put them here. And finally, publication. Again, I'm not good at that. I didn't have many publications, but with my little effort, I said at least there's something that I put back in 2013, 2021. So I just put a snapshot of the papers there and one book there. So okay lah, you know, doesn't have to be too great. You don't need to have a great impact factors. No need. No, don't. And finally, what are recognitions that you get? 6.2, they want to see, are you good at that? Have you received any awards? Have you received anything? And I said, yeah, I got some awards. Little award that I got from UTP matters. So I have developed my teaching and learning from UTP in 2006. And then it grows. And then I went to outside. Where was the bronze? IFAX 2016. I got number 3. I was so happy. International, my first penetration as bronze award. I was so happy. And finally, you got to scan those certificates. You cannot just say bluntly, put the photos, put the certificates and proven. And finally, the biggest one, if you are a scholar in teaching and learning, what have you contributed in terms of leadership? Oh, this one is hard. Because I thought, if you want to become a leader in teaching and learning, you may have to hold certain positions, either at cluster level, department level, university or national level, etc. Purely on teaching and learning, curriculum development. But then, it was just nice. In that year, 2021, I have the biggest responsibility given by the university. I had to develop a new curriculum for the university after COVID. Then I thought, okay, that was just one. Okay, I just had just one. Meaning to say, it's not about the numbers game so much, but how you have contributed. And this is something that you can't control because this goes back to the management, whether they want to have you or not. And with one effort that I had, otherwise it will be 0 in this subsection of my teaching portfolio. I just put it there, and then I put the letters and some photos. This is exactly what you see on my 6.3 page, just one page, you know. And then that's it. That's good enough. And other documents are in the appendices. You don't put the course syllabus in the body of content. You put them here. And you put it in the appendix. You put some references here. I had 1, 2, 3 little reference mostly. 3 references, especially when I cited on my pedagogy. I put the references here. And then on the appendices, again, brainstorm. What should I put? I put any documents that will be supporting my part, further strengthen. And for that reason, I put MQA Table 4 in the appendix, not in your content. Okay, I put some wow documents or a bonus, which is like my postgrad success stories, which you have seen. And then ULEN system. Okay, and I thought, okay, maybe they want to see one LMS system. So I said, okay, let's just put one LMS system for them to see an example. And it should be in an appendix because the main essence, I have brought them into content. But this one is just how the system looks like. So this is like my appendices, and this is my LMS. You see, I just put some part of it, and I chose the one that was the busiest, the nicest. I put something here, which is 2021, quite recent, and then that's good. Okay. Any questions before? On the dot.
Any question? We don't have any question on the chat.
Okay.
I
I
think
hope they are.
you
Yeah, any verbal questions? You don't see me anymore. You can ask anything that you want. Please ask. After this, I will not remember you as well. There's so many of you.
I think everyone is fascinated, Doctor.
So
Yes.
I hope so. What my take points here, do not underestimate yourself. That's number one. Start building your career. If you're a new person, you know what it takes for you to excel. And if you are somehow around me, you already have a lot. It's just for you to dig up and make a nice structured portfolio. It's just I'm good at making a structured portfolio. I think that's why I managed to put everything in one. I never lose any evidence, any point. I have to link it somewhere. Letak lah. Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. But for you, you are very fortunate to have someone to share with you what can be done. But this is not the whole boundaries. I'm just putting whatever I have and just put it the stories. But I'm sure you have more stories and much more interesting because you are living in physical, online, virtual, so you have a lot of things that you have played around. If you have questions, you can ask me now. If you're shy to ask, you can always email me. It's just my first name.
Assalamualaikum, Dokter.
Waalaikumsalam.
Yeah, just a bit question about I think that you compare between another section, yeah, the way that you do the improvement in giving the teaching and learning, the method that you have, but then it seems that the other lecturer, it's a kind of good bell shape, isn't it, Doctor? But then you are shifting to the A, yeah, more to the A. So during the interview, is there any question regarding about that one? Yeah, why it is shifting to the
Okay.
yeah, because basically, what do you call it? It's always questionable. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, Doctor. That's all.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll give you some ideas what will happen in the interview. Okay, I was busy with my teaching portfolio. I read every page and I tried to prepare any arguments. But on that day, they just want to see you as what you claim who you are in your teaching portfolio. Okay, they did not go to those technical questions. They did not. So you will be given around 20 minutes mock teaching. And in that mock teaching, I have to inspire my 7 students, who are very great people of Malaysia, about outdoor-based education. So you have to plan what you want to teach. And the content of that should portray your teaching portfolios. Okay, so that is very subjective, kan? But they don't ask you about CLO, PLO achievement, attainment. No, they don't. Nothing on technical. They don't ask you about your LMS. I was scared about OBE juga. I studied OBE as well, No, but these experts, they already read your portfolio. They already understood, but they just want to see you as a person who's teaching. Are you a good teacher or is it just in the paper? Okay, so coming back to your question, you can spell them out in the descriptions. Let's say now you're looking at this page, right? So maybe if you're scared, you can just say, okay, the shift of results of the grade are from here to there, and then you can just claim and land it there, close. Because when you are looking in this course, you want to improve certain elements. You cannot improve all. So perhaps you want to improve certain POs, PO1 and PO2. I still have failures perhaps, or late things in PO5, but I cannot do more. I cannot do. So you are advised to learn and conclude anything that you wish you're scared about, any of your reservation on this teaching portfolio. Your teaching portfolio does not need to tell the good, beautiful stories all the time. A good lecturer falls, okay? So when you fall and you drive back, that matters. So if you can show, yeah, I tried this, it falls, and I try again, it falls, and the third time it good. So that is the journey. So you have to understand, telling a journey is not about being good all the time. But when you fall, you become resilient and you check back, you reflect. So you can put all those here. But in the interview, they will not ask you that questions. Inshallah. If they ask you, I'm so sorry. Maybe that one kind of judge really love your teaching portfolio and wants to know more. Okay. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Doctor, there is a question from Dr. Mazni. Salam, Dr. Zahiraniza. Very inspiring sharing session. I wonder, how do you keep your perseverance?
Perseverance. Oh, that's a very nice question. Okay, you have to know a little bit about me. Then you got to drink coffee with me one day. I'm not easily. I was raised in a hardship as well, but the hardship tells us about challenges in life. I had a hard time doing my masters in Canada when I was about to fail, and I blame some of my institution who did not equip me well with my knowledge. And after masters, I made a vow. I said my students will not feel my pain, okay? Because I have felt it. I have peaks of lifetime as well. But when I felt hard, and then I said I took a vow. My students will have to learn and they have to understand hydraulics. They could not suffer as what I am suffering that time, So I came back to Malaysia. I taught my students with that aspiration. I always check, can they understand? Can they understand? So that is the perseverance. You were always wanting to teach the students better because you have been in that footstep once and you knew how painful it was. So that's what I say. A drop in life will teach you to be so much better in the future. So it's okay. And as a lecturer, you have to feel different heads of students. Some students are born to be so smart. You have to know how to handle that, okay? Not easy. Some students are not there, but they want to put effort. So being in those heads help. And that comes to my perseverance, my resilience, and how I have my chief mindset growth. You have to have a growth mindset because as an educator, you cannot be too comfortable in your position at all time. Because why? Because Malaysian is very dynamic. Mohi is very dynamic. There wasn't active learning last time. Now active learning lah, blended learning lah, whatever. So if you do not catch up with whatever you don't push yourself too much. But whatever little effort that you can learn, so learning is always a lifelong learning journey. But with that little thing, I say, okay, this is MOOC, yeah. Okay, let's try MOOC here. Then that teaching ODL, okay, making clips in the ODL, yeah. Okay, you do your baby steps in learning new pedagogies, but in heart, you want your student to benefit them. It's not about you. It's always about your students because you chose this field. You wanted to become an academic, so be an academic. You not just become a teacher, but you are an educator, and you have chosen this field. That's why I didn't become an engineer, because I knew I am born as a lecturer. This is my pledge. This is my amanah. I hope that answers you.
MashaAllah. Thank you, Doctor. I think one last question. Okay, is it possible for us to have a copy of your teaching portfolio for reference, of course, and to keep us, at least Dr. Hazika who wrote here, motivated.
Okay, I will have to take out some portion when they talk about me. Okay, I don't mind sharing about that, but please remember one thing, do not compare you and me. You are so much better than me. So you're going to make your own journey towards that. Okay. I will share with, sorry?
Sorry that it was me who asked the question just now. So when I came, I was like, oh, is this a teaching portfolio for, to win ACRI or to win AAN? But listening to you, it suddenly makes me remember that, oh, I'm an educator. What have I done so far with my teaching? With these publications, with this
Yeah.
KPI, we tend to forget about teaching. I started working in 2021 and it's 2024, not even 5 years. I have forgotten, not forgotten at all, but when listening to you, it's like, oh, Azika, what about your teaching? And listening to your journey has inspired me a lot and bring me back to the reality of,
Yeah.
in getting student educated. So I don't mind reading about you with all the document. Just give her the original document, so that whenever, from time to time, sharing like this, nangis rasa when you share about your student, how they learn from you, you motivate your student.
Yeah.
I have forgotten. Thank you for this
Yeah.
sharing session.
That's why, if I were to show you, this one is very personal to me. That's why I cakap kan. If I don't get this award, I don't care, because I have compiled my story here. This one is very, very, very deep inside. This is not just a document submitted for an award. This is my journey as an educator. This is my story. So every page of this is deep to me, and I am happy at least I have a document to tell what I am, what I was, what I am, and I can. That's why I binded this. I binded this, and very overview. Okay, I did not make it very descriptive. I have a lot of efforts that I put in terms of pictogram because I know I want to impress the reviewer. But again, it's not about the award. But I have a lot of evidence, so I put this there. And I make my students excited, my postgrad students excited. And then that's it. And then I said, tak dapat award tak apa. But the document is there in my office and I'm happy. So yes, I will share with you. I will email it to Dr. Raini or Miss Hilda, or then you got to reach out them, or you can always, maybe you can email me, Zahiraniza, my first name, at utp.edu.my, so that you can get it from me straight. And totally agree with you when we forgot about this main core and we put more distinctive on other documents, right? So it's good to know back where we are, and whatever it is, whatever journey that you do in this one, you will always shift people for better, and the reward is not just meant here. You inspire people, they will remember you. You will see in my alumni how they remembered me in their own way. Masya Allah, memang sentimental lah. But on my side, I have a document to express about myself, so that's it. Tak dapat pun tak apa lah. And then tiba-tiba, okay, you've been called. I said, okay, so that's it. So yeah, so this is this is my pride, and I hope you are like that as well. For those who are new, create your own pride. But when you have a good heart, everything just happens naturally, and your students can read you, and students can feel you, and they will always follow your vibes as well. And that is something that you don't teach in class. You will teach through your aspiration and body language. They see you who you are. And coming back to a question. Do I want what else is next? Okay. No way going to international award. What's the point? So I told my people, UTPians, it's time to give back. Because UTP has developed me to whatever I am. So it's time to give back. And last year, I have been asked to lead this new program, Integrated Engineering. You can see I'm a civil engineer. So I was so happy and excited to reimagine engineering by the name of Integrated Engineering Department. We're going to have our first undergrad students next year, September. But this is my passion where I can give, because I believe in teaching and learning, and I believe that I want to improve students. So I crafted together with my team on how a curriculum can look like for the betterment of society. So that's my answer. Time to give back. No more about you. They got AAN award, that's it lah. Done, habis. Dreams come true. So to Hazika, you should dream, because dream come true. Okay.
InsyaAllah, Doctor.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much for the answers, Dr. Zahiraniza, Dr. Z. Very inspiring. So I think we just need to conclude because it's already 12:06. Before we conclude, let me just call the director for CPD, Prof. Mira, to give her closing remarks, inshallah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Zahiraniza. I've seen your face during the ACRI briefing. So just to introduce to everyone, Dr. Zahiraniza is one of the committee for ACRI. We will send 5, inshallah, participants from IUM. This is our first time participating in ACRI. So we really look forward. And unfortunately, for those who haven't managed to submit to ACRI application this year, you will have opportunities next year, inshallah. But we look forward for the 5 to be part of the finalists, inshallah. And yeah, reflecting back on your sharing, mashallah, is very, very inspiring. I myself relate to whatever you have been sharing. But one of my weaknesses, I don't really keep pictures and evidences and all this. I'm really bad with filings. So now I learn how important it is, especially taking pictures. I'm really shy in front of cameras, except these cameras, because I'm get used to it. But yeah, I really hope that every one of us learn from the gist of this, especially when it comes to have the evidence, keep the evidence, learn how to tell a story with evidence. And of course, the most important part is be passionate, because that's what keeps Dr. Zahiraniza keep everything in the right place and making sure everything tells a story with her heart. So thank you so much. Really honored to have you with us today. And thank you to Dr. Raini and Sister Hilda for arranging the session today. Okay, Jazakumullah khair, everyone. Have a nice day. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's end with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Okay, let's take some photos.
Evidence. This is when it's evidence.
Oh, evidence.
Other evidence for you.
In your course portfolio.
Maybe, Doctor, can you unshare so that I can see the whole thing?
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to take the first screen. Everyone, can you turn on the camera? Okay, and smile, everyone. Okay, I'm going to go to the second screen. Okay. Smile, everyone. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So, yeah, because it's past, it's almost 12:10, so most of them already left. So, thank you so much, Dr. Zahira, for the inspiring sharing session. We
Thank
hope
you, Doctor.
you get your perseverance. Inshallah, we need to find our own perseverance and to be committed like you, inshallah, in future. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And yeah, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.